This is the limitless Keith Lee.
This is Brody King.
This is Angel Garza.
Will Ospreay.
Hornswoggle.
Pentagon Jr.
The villain, Marty Skell.
The Mexican Ray Phoenix.
King Ricochet.
Concrete Rose, Sunny Kiss.
And I'm here to ask you to stop what you're doing, take just one moment, and bask in the glory of the Busted Wide Open.
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 Boston Wide Open.
Busted Wide Open podcast.
You're listening to the Busted Wide Open podcast, dropping the elbow on the hottest topics in sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling. With your hosts, Nick Howell and Sir Ian Dangerous. Coming to you from the Orbital Jigsaw Network Arena in sunny Southern California. Welcome everybody to BWO Live, coming to you from across the BWO universe of Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. This is episode number 320 of episode... Man, I am all kinds of screwed up. This is episode number 320 of Busted Wide Open. My name is Nick Howell.
And just like Mace and T-Bar, I am naming off animals until my promos make sense. Rabbit, hyena, lion, turkey vulture, kangaroo,
Porcupine.
crocodile. Oh, crocodile. Crocodiles are dangerous. Dangerous? Oh, I am Sir Ian Dangerous.
Yes.
Sir Ian Dangerous, and welcome to the Busted Wide Open show. That's right. Nick is all over the place. I'm a crocodile. Everything's upside down. Cats and dogs living together. Mass hysteria. It's madness. We're here to talk about Monday Night Raw last night, which sadly was mostly WWE spinning its wheels more, including having the exact same matches and exact same segments they had last week and doing it all over again and thinking it was okay. But we also had some major advancements other places on the show. It was a lot. It was a lot of a show. There's much things to discuss. Also, this weekend is Impact coming up with Rebellion. It's going to be the title unification show. It's where Kenny Omega and Rich Swann face off. We'll talk about that later on in the show. But Nick, let's do a little business. And then I have actually some breaking news that we've got to get to as well. So this literally breaking this happened as the show was starting.
Damn.
I have to talk about this. So let's do some business.
Raw can wait.
And then we'll do breaking news.
Guys, You guys know where to find us. Linktree.com/BWO. It's a one-stop shop for all things Busted Wide Open. Find our Facebook discussion group. Get in there. Make sure you get into the Discord for live chats all throughout the week and pay-per-views. Good times happen in there. Plus, we got tech, gaming, all kinds of good stuff happening in that Discord community as well. Big community there for you guys to take advantage of. Hit us up on Twitter and Instagram at BWO Podcast, and a big shout out to our patrons. Thank you guys so much for all of your support every single month. We love you guys. I'm excited to do tonight's patron mailbag, as we are every single week. It's literally our favorite thing to do. So thank you guys for sending in all your questions again. I do also want to give a shout over to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/BustedWideOpen. There's some things.
Are you excited?
There's some things that are happening. Let me put it this way. There are reasons that about 9 months ago, we decided to leave YouTube and come over to Twitch. Let's just say that YouTube or that Twitch and all of the problems that they've been having, plus the dying of Mixer last year, has awoken the sleeping giant of YouTube. There are all kinds of new features and functionality that are being turned on YouTube on a daily basis at this point, and a lot of them are going to mirror things that we do here on Twitch. So coming soon, you will be able to get loyalty badges, all of the stuff that you get here on Twitch. You will also be able to get over on YouTube, giving you choice. If you prefer to watch on YouTube, you absolutely can. Badges.
We don't need no stinking badges.
Badges, emoji, all of the good stuff. It's no longer like just super chats or nothing else. Like they're bringing in the tiers for subs. They call them joins or all of that. The community over on you. So more info on that soon. I just wanted to give you guys a little teaser heads up that was coming. I'm very super excited about that. We're excited to be back on YouTube again. Shout out to YouTube and Facebook. What's up, folks?
What's up, guys?
Thanks for joining us, and we're glad to be back on the other platforms as well. Got a little bit of business to take care of here real quick before we get started, Ian. The chat was happy before we got started. Cal Cotton gifted a tier 1 sub to Wallcaller. is how I'm going to go. I'm going to go with Wall Caller 01.
All right.
Congratulations. Welcome to the channel. Be sure you thank Kyle Cotton for your gifted sub. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
Jay Wolf threw in 200 bits, said, can't join you guys live till later. I'm headed to the theaters to watch Nobody. It's my first theater visit since the pandemic. I just want to say hey to everybody and wish you guys well. Thank you very much,
I've
Jay.
heard it's a good movie. Enjoy, Jay.
Yeah,
Enjoy.
it's on HBO.
It's
It's on HBO Max as well, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, Warner Brothers is doing those simultaneous releases all this year.
I'm never leaving the house again. Like they just do, like you do them at my house. I'm just gonna stay home.
The scary
I have an
part
entertainment center.
about this is that Andy and I prophesized this back in 2017 on Concession Stand that this would become the norm. But all the movie studios have said they're all gonna go back to theaters.
You can rent out a whole theater here in LA for $100.
Oh sure, they're so desperate right now.
Mm-hmm. You can watch Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, $100. You can have the whole. You want to play Mario Kart on a big screen? You can do it. $100.
Yep.
Wild.
Let's see. Thank you, Jay. Costanza resubbed with the tier 2 for 9 months straight. Oh, he gets a little bit of the chicken. Good. Oh, gotta love the chicken.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Chris. Appreciate it, brother. Cal threw in 100 bits, said Raw still isn't good. We're going to get to that. But much like last week, baby steps, as there were positives long-term here that can be built upon, you're much more optimistic than I.
I'm on the same page as him.
Okay, we're going to have an interesting show tonight then.
We have a talk.
Nick's fired up. If only we could do something about the gulf of filler content, including a repeat match. We're going to get to all that, Kyle. Thank you.
He's nailing it though. I'm in 100% agreement with Kyle.
I mean, we can just turn the show off. We can talk about what we need to talk about and turn the show off. Kyle just summed it up right there in 2 sentences.
That was it.
Yeah, we're done. We're out. Right. Let's go do the mailbag.
Tons of filler content. A couple good new things. We're done. Thanks everybody.
It's been a good show.
True though. It's true. He's 100% right. I'm looking forward to breaking it all down and breaking down what was filler content, what was exciting new stuff. Because there was, Nick, I know you're really down on this week's Raw. I was actually skeptically optimistic. About half the show was useless, and half the show I thought was very exciting. If not brilliantly executed, I thought it was exciting possibilities. So, yes, Kyle, agreed. I am looking forward to discussing it momentarily.
One more piece of business that we have to talk about, though. You can attest, Sir Ian Dangerous, that I was prepared to get up on my pulpit and use all of my F-bombs prior to the show. I was fired up. I was pissed. And then one thing really hit me, is that of all those times that we went to PWG and all of those bumpers that we got, not once did we get one from Matt Riddle. And
I know we had the opportunity.
We had the opportunities to do so. So in honor of 420, I have created us a new hot button.
Bro.
Yes, there it is.
So we now have. I can sit here and just go.
Bro.
Bro.
As much as I want to.
The best part is the pause before it.
Yep. Bro.
The stoner pause.
Yeah.
Bro. Yeah. Like that. Bro.
Happy 420, everybody. If you partake, light one up, enjoy the show. Let's have a good time. And let's kick things off with a little big news.
Hey, Nick. Do you remember TNA Bound for Glory 2008?
No.
Do you remember Samoa Joe versus Sting?
I've seen the match, yes.
Okay. This is what I'm referring to. Bound for Glory 2008. It's the match where Joe did that legendarily insane / stupid, depending on who you ask, spot where he did a drop kick from higher up in the stands onto like a lower little shelf of stairs.
Okay, maybe I haven't seen this.
Okay, it's one of the most just ridiculous, holy crap, he could have legit injured the crap out of himself move the spot you'll ever see. It's a pretty famous move. I suggest you go look it up. If you haven't seen it out there in BWO land, go check it out. It'll come up pretty quick. Samoa Joe insane spot. It'll pop up. But basically Joe was on a higher level of the stands. Sting's down lower. He jumps basically like if you've ever been in one of those auditoriums, arenas or whatever, right? Imagine you're like 3 or 4 rows up and you were to just like jump at somebody feet first and try to land on one of those like 4 foot by 5 foot landings of stairs of concrete and not hit the seats on the other side, not land on the seats on your side, not land on the bars in between, but still have to land on concrete from like a 10-foot drop. Joe did that to Sting in this match. And it's somewhat apocryphally been labeled as the time in Joe's career where his injuries like really started kicking in. And to the point where What Culture recently actually put they made a list, the 10 devastating injuries that made wrestlers worse. And this spot was number 1 because, apocryphally speaking, his tailbone was broken by the spot. He narrowly missed crushing a testicle. His in-ring work suffered as a result. His back was messed up. He walked funny afterwards. He was never as fast. He had to change his in-ring style. All of these things were attributed to this one spot. And this is something that was just pretty much taken as canon after this.
Okay.
To the point where, like, you know, even like David Bixenspan was talking about it as though it was pretty much truth. Even Brian Alvarez says it's like one of the dumbest spots he's ever seen.
Dumber than Jeff Hardy doing the swanton off the second-story bleachers? Or the seating?
He did say one of.
Okay.
But that being said, just earlier today, a somewhat enterprising Redditor named Bookerman32, he came on to Reddit and said, you know what? There's something fishy about this. I've searched everywhere, and I can't find a single person to corroborate that Joe was injured in this spot. Just all of this basically taken as truth internet gossip that Joe was injured, and this genuinely hurt him, and it ruined his career going forward and made him someone that was injury prone, and et cetera, made him change his working style.
Okay.
So initially, reading the post, I saw it when it first came up.
He then went on to become NXT champion down the road.
He did a lot of things. But so long story short, this Redditor, this user, made a pretty long post, detailed a lot of places where this was listed as fact, and then said, but I can't find anything to like where the story started or to corroborate this. People, can you help me? And initially, when you read it, it sounds a little bit like kind of, you know, conspiracy theory stuff.
Sure. Typical bullshit you read on Reddit.
You dig a little deeper and you go, this guy might be onto something. There really is no evidence that Joe injured himself in this spot. He kept working afterwards. He didn't stop working. Right. He didn't move funny afterwards. He didn't even really sell the spot that much. He just winced a little bit, but he wasn't like, you know, the way that you would be if you actually shattered your damn tailbone. Right.
I've broken my tailbone. It sucks. I was on the ground for a day.
I have also messed up my tailbone. It is debilitating. So this guy was searching for the truth. Well, it finally got back to Samoa Joe literally minutes before we went on air. And Samoa Joe tweeted out, nope. In fact, I didn't miss a day of work. I have refrained commenting on this because I've enjoyed how the legend grew over the years, and it being somewhat of a social experiment for me, watching it manifest as such an absolute truth. Person, meaning the Redditor, did his homework. Myth is busted.
Bro.
Joe did not. Bro. Whoa. Bro. So all of you out there in wrestling land who think that Joe got injured at Bound for Glory and that's the reason why he may have changed his wrestling style or whatever. Myth busted. It's not true. The man himself has come out and said, yeah, I was kind of trolling you guys by letting this keep going. It's not true. So there you go.
Well, damn.
It's
I have to admit I was losing sleep every night. Thankfully he chimed in to weigh in on that. That was fantastic.
Your sarcasm is noted. Fine, Nick. You want to talk about something that's exciting to you more? Let's do that. Let's head on over, Nick, and let's give you a little bit of a platform to talk about Monday Night Raw.
Ian, I need a minute.
Oh, do you?
This is a trend that's been forming for some time now. I don't understand how we've gotten here. I do understand. I understand how we've gotten here. I understand how we've gotten to this point with WWE.
Okay.
It is
Raw or WWE in general?
Raw in particular. SmackDown has its moments, but it's more watchable because you can suspend disbelief a little bit more. Just my own way of thinking about it.
Okay.
Raw, for some reason, if we were to sum up Raw in 5 minutes tonight, it would make no sense whatsoever. Because everything that they did on this Raw is either undone by things they've done previously in recent weeks, if not the most recent episodes prior to this one. This is getting to a point where somebody has to check backstage and make sure that the old man hasn't forgotten what he put on TV last week. How are you going to break up? How are you going to have a tag team match and then have singles feuds to lead to another tag team match? There are so many examples of horseshit in the booking from last night that I'll call them out as we go down through this because I don't want to eat up any more time at the top of the show. I'm tired of being nice about this. I'm tired of us just accepting it, taking it on the chin. I'm mad about it. I love wrestling. I'm pissed off. I love Raw. I've been watching Raw for almost 30 years. I'm pissed off. There's no excuse. I'm tired of being nice about this. I'm calling them out on their shit. I'm not going to dance around it anymore.
My goodness. You are fired up
So let's
today.
go. I'm so mad I could spit.
And what's funny is, here I am. I actually thought that this Raw was an improvement from last week. Not by much. It was not a good Raw, but it had its moments. It had some good things. It had some things that make me hopeful. I can't wait to hear
what those were.
And I'm looking forward to, at the end of this Raw, discussing the Raw today, you going back and being like, you know what? It wasn't bad as I thought.
It was bad.
Fine, but it wasn't as bad as you thought. Like, I'm at the end of this, I want to see if you still believe 100% the vitriol that you just spat out there about how mad you are at this Raw. Now, we've been pretty salty the last few weeks. We have. The build to WrestleMania was crap. The come down after WrestleMania was crap. We agree with this. This Raw was not good. We agree on this.
It has not been good since weeks before WrestleMania.
Right. But at the end of this, I want to see if you can look back and say, okay, there are some things on this Raw that were positives. I want to see if we can find those for you. And at the end, you're not just like, throw it out the window.
There's one that's an extreme stretch.
Well, let's start with this. You point it out when we get to that one that you think is a stretch. But let's start with Drew McIntyre, because we started off the show the way that last week's Raw ended, with Drew McIntyre coming out to the ring and calling out MVP. Well, he called out Bobby Lashley last week. This week he got MVP. And essentially saying, hey, I'm number one contender now. But here I am getting jumped by these two goons, Mace and T-Bar. I feel like they're somehow linked up with the Hurt Business. MVP, come out and explain yourself. MVP comes out and says...
No, we called out Bobby Lashley.
We came out... Look, we got MVP
comes out. Where the is the WWE champion?
Well, we do know that there have been COVID protocols, that there's a COVID breakout on Raw right now. So we might be missing some people because of that. And we might have had to shuffle some things up because of that. So Lashley was there for the first part of last week, but it might have been one of those things where they filmed it. I don't know. He wasn't the second half, which was strange. So, and it seemed like they pulled him. But again, that's just rampant speculation. Bottom line is MVP came out and said, I don't know what you're talking about with Mace and T-Bar. Hurt Business is just, we wanted to downsize. Bobby Lashley runs the thing. I'm his advocate, if you will. And basically, we had the same thing as last week. MVP and Drew talk, and T-Bar and Mace come out and beat up Drew. And then they walk away and don't really acknowledge MVP at all. And MVP just kind of looks mysteriously at Drew, goes, I don't know. Mace and T-Bar get to the back, cut a bizarre promo where they list off a bunch of animals and then say Saber-Tooth Tiger. Oh, yeah, that's extinct, just like Drew McIntyre is going to be. Okay. Still no real reason why they're doing what they're doing. But Drew McIntyre's pissed. He goes back to Adam Pearce, demands a handicap match with them. Adam Pearce says, let me at least find you a tag partner. And Drew says, no, I'm going to get a baseball bat. We can do this the right way in the ring, or I can get a baseball bat and take care of it myself. Cool line. Adam Pearce says, fine, I'll see what I can do. So later on in the show, we have Drew McIntyre, handicap match against Mason T-Bar. He's able to handle them anytime that they're one-on-one. Ultimately, though, they end up tag team on him and they get DQ'd. And Drew McIntyre wins that. But then as they beat him down, out of the back, inexplicably, comes a guy who Drew ran down earlier in the show as being dumb.
Stupid.
To me, Braun, me want championship match. He went back to the same old line that Shane did and got in trouble for, but apparently when Drew does it, it's okay. All right. And Braun Strowman comes out to be his tag partner. And then we come back from commercial. It's a tag match. Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre against Mason T-Bar, which I would assume, Nick, you thought would be cool. Bunch of big guys doing big guy things. Your look tells me that you did not think it was cool.
No.
Out of curiosity, at this point, before we get into the end of the match, why did you not think this was cool to have these four guys?
Why would you have Mason T-Bar come out to beat up Drew if they weren't going to be associated with MVP in the Hurt Business? What was all of this for?
What's to say that they're not? What's to say that they're not clandestinely working for them, or they have same ideas and
now
MVP's
you're
like,
off
cool,
in Ian fantasy booking land.
I'm just saying, like,
I'm talking about what I was presented last night on television.
Sure.
Right? They didn't even acknowledge MVP when they walked away, and then they go back and start talking gibberish that okay, like,
I thought you were going to call it the fact that Braun Strowman,
one of the most talented big men in the world. What are you doing? And I'm not even done. We haven't even gotten to the end yet. We haven't gotten to the end yet.
So here's the thing, though. I thought you were going to be mad at the fact that all week they advertised that Braun Strowman was going to face Randy Orton for the first time in a one-on-one match.
Yeah, never mind. Change.
And at the last minute, Vince came in the day of and said, nope, we're going this different direction instead.
How many times? And luckily there weren't 20,000 people that paid $100 for a seat to go see that advertised match, as Vince has done numerous times over the decades. Advertise something to draw a door and then them over after they're in the door. But changed my mind.
Yeah. I have to say that was a little odd, but at the same time, I wasn't like sitting on the edge of my seat waiting for Braun Strowman versus Randy Orton. So I actually like what we got instead. I think Vince made the right call. I don't understand why Braun is coming out to help Drew. That's a bit of a big plot hole they could have fixed. But
they haven't explained why Mason T-Bar are out there.
They haven't, and frankly, this does.
At least Braun makes sense.
I'll give you this, Nick. There is a bunch of this that makes me. It reeks of WWE last-minute booking that they will then have to go retcon and explain later.
Yep.
But you know what?
They'll fall back on the video package editors to explain it by the time we get to Backlash. Right?
They don't pay them enough, those video editors. But here's the thing. I preferred the matches we got here. Braun and Drew versus Mason T-Bar was more exciting than Braun versus Randy. Randy, later on in the show, facing off against Riddle, which I cannot wait to talk about, was a better match for Randy. These are both better than what we would have had. So I think that ultimately I went, okay, I'll allow it. Also, the ending of this match was Drew McIntyre getting frustrated and ripping off Mace's mask and then hitting him in the head with it. T-Bar comes in to beat him up. Braun Strowman jumps in. They rip off his mask. Both Mace and T-Bar jump out of the ring because they got hit with foreign objects. It's a DQ. They win the match. And now Dijak, they're both unmasked. Your boy Dijak is back. Dio Madden and Dijak. They're unmasked. They're right there. Full face.
Just because the intended result is what we got to doesn't mean I like to have to like the way we got there.
Okay, fine.
Because it's inexplicable.
But you agree it's good that they were unmasked.
Yes.
Does that give you any hope at all, the fact that they unmasked them?
Barely. Because I don't trust Vince.
Gotcha.
Until he splits them up and they start having, they send Dijak and or Dio Madden up for a title shot of some sort. Like we put him into a program of some sort. I don't trust him with any tag teams. They split up and then fired the Iconics. Arguably the best women's tag team in WWE. The first women's tag team champions. I don't trust it.
But this seems like
I'm not even skeptically optimistic. I'm pessimistically optimistic.
These guys feel like they're on the cusp of being his new Bludgeon Brothers. And he loved him some Bludgeon Brothers.
Thank you.
He loved him some Bludgeon Brothers.
Do I
got
get
books.
any gratification out of them being unmasked? I will admit a little bit, yes. It was nice to see Dijak's face.
You're the one who's always saying it's Dijak.
Yes.
Well, he's back to looking like Dijak again. He's got to drop the stupid name. He said, "You took off my mask. I'm no longer T-Bar. I'm now Dijak. Dijak and Dio."
Second women's champions. Thank you, Kyle. Why did Braun come out here? Why is a guy that is competing with Drew to get to Bobby Lashley to be the next contender for the WWE coming out to help him? It just makes no sense.
Hashtag WWE Logic. I guess we'll find out next week.
I don't know.
Stay tuned for more on Days of Our Superstar.
Oh, God.
But here's the thing, is that ultimately keeping Braun in that higher echelon picture is interesting. Having these two guys unmasked is good. It's a good thing. Having them look like monsters is a good thing for them. It's way better than what they were doing in Retribution.
Agreed.
I feel bad
That
for
I'll
Shane
agree with.
Thorne. I feel bad for Shane Thorne. Although supposedly he and Mia Yim got traded to SmackDown. So there is hope.
Too soon to think Keith Lee is going to SmackDown as well?
Yeah, I think probably too soon.
Okay.
Too soon. There's still a lot to do on Raw.
I know they like to keep the couples together stuff, but
No, they don't. Not if they don't like the couples.
all right.
They don't care about that. So ultimately, like, I thought this was a net positive for this. Also,
Okay.
Again, net positive. Net
There
positive.
is 10
What's the
times
negative?
more to dislike about this than the fact that Dijak got unmasked. I agree with you. I like that Braun's staying in the picture. This isn't how to do it, though. He's coming out to
wrestling.
save the guy that he's trying to beat.
So find a reason for him to do that. That's all they got to
Yeah,
do. That's
editors,
literally it. It's the
go
only
make us a video package that explains that by the time we get to Backlash in 2 weeks. You got two.
two sentences. Two sentences next week on Raw, and we'll understand why Braun came out. They should have done this Raw. They didn't. Okay, do it next week. Will they? I don't know. It's WWE, but they might just get swept under the rug. But I liked seeing this big man match. It was exciting. It was an exciting big man match.
Okay.
Agile big
The
man.
bits are flying. Let me
Let's do this.
Kyle threw in 100 bits, said, I remember it happening, and in his downtime, Joe co-starred in that host gem of Shazam with Sinbad. Or that lost gem of Shazam with Sinbad.
Okay. What a movie.
Yeah. Thank you, Kyle. Costanza threw in 200
What a
bits,
movie.
said, for you guys and the shit show that Raw has been.
Thank you.
It's a struggle every week.
I needed it last week. Nick needs it this week.
Thank you. I threw in another 100 bits, said, what could we do? This is I want to take this question seriously. What could we do as fans that would actually make Vince change his mind? Change the way that he does
There's
things.
absolutely nothing. He's completely insulated.
Stop watching. Ratings tank. You know, that's the only thing.
It's not even about ratings anymore. Like, it's not just ratings. It's also social media. It's, watches on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. They were
If
crowing
ratings
about their
didn't
1
matter, we
billion
wouldn't be
views.
competing with NXT tonight.
That's true. They want to take our share, don't they?
They do. They do.
Nice try, Trips. Nice try. He's been gunning for us for
Thank
years.
you very much, Chris. Cal threw in 100 bits, said, we lost the masks, and the next step is to reclaim the name. Baby steps, Nick. We're getting Dijak back, and considering they put these guys as equals somewhat to Braun and Drew, this is a positive, no logic in the setup, but long term, this is good for Dio and Dijak if they keep building them. If you're putting a lot of faith in someone that I have no faith in anymore. No faith. Sorry. Thank you, Kyle. I will be pleasantly surprised instead of looking at it that way. If we get actual Dominic Dijakovic, as they call him, or Dijak, because we know how Vince loves single names. What better person to give someone a single name than just Dijak? Nail it. Come on, Vince. Do it.
Give him his hashtag wrestling.
Send him up for a title. That's one of the most agile big men in the world. Right there with Lance Archer.
Doesn't mean he's going to get anywhere.
Nope.
He's got some roads to walk first.
Broken Wheelchair in the chat makes a good point. They just fleeced Peacock for $1 billion. Until it starts affecting the bottom line, they don't care about ratings.
Bingo.
Good
Thank you.
point taken.
Yeah, no,
Heard loud and clear, absolutely.
Nick, how many times have we had that conversation? Ratings are great, and it's going to, those will come due
It's
the
great
next time they have
Twitter fodder.
negotiations. But here's the thing: is if they're making 2 million viewers on a Friday night and still making 1 billion followers of a WrestleMania week or 1 billion views of a WrestleMania weekend on their social medias, they're gonna get $1 billion just to be on TV because they'll fill a slot.
Yep.
They're still one of the most watched things on USA. they're going to be. It doesn't matter if they're not doing 8 million people.
Did they finally beat Law and Order?
I don't know. I know they were up this week, but
guys, I'm being a little bit operatic tonight too. Just understand.
We know.
We know. I am not happy, but just
Nick had a rough call.
Just Matt Riddle makes me happy. That's
you really actually. I hope that you have something else in your robot dick there that you're sucking on. Whatever it is, the pipe you're smoking. You gotta lace that thing, man. You gotta mellow out today, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hit the sativa instead tonight. It's a different Nick. If you know, you know.
Jesus. Well, you're hitting the sativa. Asuka's hitting Charlotte because we had Asuka versus Charlotte on this show. It was the main event. Charlotte came out and cut another promo, just as good as her last week's promo. This one also cutting a little bit close to the skin, to reality. When Andrade left the WWE, one of the things he said is that women in the back are jealous of Charlotte. Some of them have complained that she's a little bit too stiff with them sometimes. She put that into her promo. She called them everyone in the backstage rats. She said that they don't like each other as much as they don't like me. They're all fake. And you know what? Tough crap, because I am the top woman in the division. I am the opportunity. And I can beat everyone. I was left out of WrestleMania, and it wasn't fair. Tell him, Daddy. So she got mad. Out came Asuka to interrupt her. Before Asuka could say anything, out came Rhea Ripley to interrupt them both. Charlotte looked nonplussed. Yeah, I expected this to happen. Said, hey, Rhea, me and Asuka have a match later. Why don't you pull up a comfy seat and watch as I dismantle her the way I'm going to dismantle you? I'm the reason she doesn't have an undefeated streak. I'm Charlotte, damn it. Asuka tried to break in. Charlotte said, no. I'm talking. Asuka tried to break in again. Charlotte said, Asuka, shut up. I don't want to hear what you have to say. I'm talking right now. And Asuka screams at her, Charlotte, I'm going to beat you, bitch. And Charlotte, oh my goodness. Oh, my stars and garters. You said that to me?
They made Asuka swear.
Oh, my heavens. Oh, my bloomers are riding up my hiney. Can't believe you just said that to me. Asuka storms to the back. Sure enough, later on, we have the match. Asuka versus Charlotte. Not going to lie, Nick. Little messy. Not the best match they've had. The timing seemed a little bit off a few times in this match. Not sure what was going on, but definitely not their best effort. Still hard hitting, still fast paced. Energy was there, but didn't matter because ultimately Charlotte got Asuka into the figure 4 and then went for the figure 8, but did it too close to the ropes. And Rhea Ripley, who was pacing around outside the ring, grabbed her hands and pulled her out of the bridge. So she fell down. She got mad. Asuka rolled her up into a crucifix pin, one of 2 crucifix pins on the evening. And 1, 2, 3, Asuka pins Charlotte.
Uh-oh.
With a little help from Rhea. Charlotte did not like this and proceeded to yell at the ref and then beat the ref senseless. Beat the poor man senseless.
For 5 damn minutes. This went on
the other refs
and
come out.
on and on and on.
Other refs come out, try to get her off of him. She leaves. She tries to leave the ring. One of them doesn't hold the ropes for her. She goes back, starts beating up the other ref again. Goes back, gets out of the ropes herself, thinks about it, gets back in, beats him up again. Like a chimpanzee when it finally loses its mind and just goes and tears off your giblies in your face, and it won't let go. Kind of like that. So Charlotte loses her mind. We find out on Raw Talk afterwards, Adam Pearce comes up to the boys and says, so we've suspended Charlotte indefinitely and fined her $100,000. So Nick, you're giving me the stink face over there. You didn't like this, I take. You didn't like this turn of events. Charlotte turning into a psycho heel and getting fined.
This is lower mid card bullshit.
Really?
Yeah. This is not what you need Charlotte Flair to be doing.
What did you need Charlotte Flair to be doing?
She was on the right track with the promos she's cut the last 2 weeks.
Would you have had her win this match over Asuka?
It depends on where we want to go with Rhea.
Because to me, it made sense that Rhea would F with Charlotte after Charlotte messed with their, Asuka gets to fight Charlotte. Rhea is also she's pissed at Charlotte for interfering in their match last week. So she interferes here, laughs about it. And then when Charlotte beats up the ref, she tweets out, that's right, I'm in your head. So to me, if you're building towards a women's triple threat, which it seems like they are, showing that Charlotte is somewhat vulnerable, showing that she's also willing to be a dastardly evil heel, showing that Asuka can still hang with her for the most part, even though she did have some assistance in winning here. And Rhea's the champ. To me, that actually, I think it sets them all on an even playing field. And I also think it's a more creative angle than anything we've seen in the women's division for the last few months. This is a better, more interesting bit of business than anything we had between Rhea and Asuka. It's a more interesting bit of business than anything we had between Sasha and Bianca.
Didn't they do this
This
same
was
thing
something
with Becky
unique.
where they suspended her?
They've done the suspension thing a few times. I haven't seen a.
I mean, like 2 years
think
ago.
Becky,
I feel like we did this exact same
Yeah.
thing with Becky over the summer.
they did with Stone Cold. They did it with
And
everybody.
then when she came back during SummerSlam or something, that's when with the match with Charlotte. Yeah.
And then, but I love suspensions. You have, they show back up. And what are they doing here? They're not allowed to be here. Charlotte's going to come out in a hoodie next week. Come out of the Thunderdome. How does she get in here? Right? Like, but you know what? We haven't seen that in a while. It's a little bit different. Charlotte is the vengeful heel. That is an interesting angle to me. It's certainly different than what we've seen from her up until now.
Charlotte's definitely a better heel. Better as a heel, I should say.
But wouldn't she be better as a heel who's on her heels? In the sense that she's not in control?
Yeah, and now Asuka, I guess, technically gets the number one contendership, gets to have a rematch against Rhea, right? I mean,
At least now you've explained it.
Makes sense. The way that
You've explained why she gets it. Yeah.
So now that they've given us a reason to have the rematch between Asuka and Rhea. Fine. I just don't want to see Charlotte doing this kind of shenaniganry. Charlotte's bigger than this.
But isn't that part of what makes it great? Is you sit
No,
there
this
and
is how
she
you
says
dumb
I'm
them
bigger
down.
than.
This is how you water them down.
She says I'm bigger than this. She says I don't need to do this kind of stuff, and then she does it. That's heel work right there, right? I'm so big I don't need to deal with other people's nonsense. But as soon as they start messing with her, then she goes and sinks low just to get back at them. I thought, well, what? I thought you were above that, Charlotte, and apparently she's not. I think it's an interesting new aspect.
We'll see how it plays out.
We'll see how it plays out. I like the way that they started here. I thought it left a lot of interesting story options open. More than they've had would you admit it's more than they've had in the women's division in a while? This is more interesting than Asuka versus Rhea or Bianca versus Sasha?
Yeah. As a build to WrestleMania?
As a build to anything.
Sure. That doesn't mean it's good.
They're building to a pay-per-view.
It's better than nothing? Because there was literally no build going to WrestleMania? Okay, sure, I'll grant you that.
Yeah.
I don't think this is the way you treat one of your top heels. I don't think you would have ever seen someone. I'm trying to think of really like big presence heels in the company that did ref beatdown spots to go off the air on Raw. And I can't think of any.
Brock went after WrestleMania when he lost and he beat up I think it was Seth, and he came out and he beat up Michael Cole and beat up all the refs and everything, and then he got suspended for a while. That made him look like an absolute beast. Pardon the pun.
Right.
My point is that I think this is actually showing some interesting aspects of Charlotte Flair's character. And as one of your top women, you go and give her 5 minutes to talk on the microphone, give her a 10-minute match, and then have her beat down refs to go off the show and look like a psycho. Yeah, you just made a really interesting heel.
I didn't think she needed it.
That's how you deal with the top heel.
I just didn't think she needed to do it. Kyle through 100 bits said, I'm loving Rhea trolling and getting under Charlotte's skin, but there's a great promo work Rhea has done on WWE Social and Raw Talk that frames this story really well. I get the feeling we get someone like Vince reinstating Charlotte before Backlash for a triple threat. I love this story so far,
100%.
but Rhea needs some shine on TV. Like NXT Rhea ends last night in a brawl with Charlotte for last week. I would have rather have seen Charlotte and Rhea have some physicality going off air in a pull-apart brawl of sorts because she was so mad at Rhea for screwing her over for the match. That's the way I want to see the women fighting. I don't want to see Charlotte Flair beating down refs and going off air. That's where I'm at.
Well, and that's a little bit #wrestling because
Sure.
I thought that while it might not, I mean, we can argue whether it was the best idea or not, but I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was a bad idea. I agree with Kyle that Rhea didn't look great in all of this. She was just kind of smirking and then interfered, and that was it. She hasn't really shown a whole lot of interesting character since getting to the main roster. I feel like she's still finding her feet. I'll warn you right now, it's a really dangerous proposition to sit there and compare people on the main roster to how they are in NXT. We've seen however many times how that's just going to end in sadness for you. So don't do that. She's going to be something a little bit different on main roster, for better or for worse. But ultimately, it is a pity that they're not going for the Rhea wants revenge on Charlotte for losing to her at WrestleMania last year. It's a pity they aren't using that story in some way, because there's a lot of grist there. You could use that. There are other things they could use for this story. However, they're not, and that is unfortunate.
Unfortunate. Kyle threw another 100 bits in, said, shout out to Charlotte's gear last night. Very Alice in Wonderland, Queen of Hearts that fits her current character to a T.
Yo, her wardrobe that she came out in, the robe she came out in was sick. Yeah. It was sick. Is JB in chat there?
I love the promo. I thought her promos I am the opportunity. I love that as kind of a gimmick, as a core tenet, right? I think that's fantastic. That's the Charlotte I want. Not one that's beating down referees. I want to see the one that goes after the champion, not referees and cheap shots.
You're getting both. That's what I'm saying. You're getting that Charlotte. It just happens to also include ref beatdowns.
Yeah. JB is here.
JB is
here. Hi, JB.
Hey, JB. You got to check. If you haven't seen it, you have to see Charlotte's entrance gear from last night. One of the best outfits she's ever had. Stunning. Before we end out this segment here, do you think triple threat at Backlash, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, are we how long is she being suspended? Is she coming back before or after Backlash? Or at Backlash to fudge the
probably
finish?
To fudge the finish. I think ultimately we land on Rhea and Charlotte for the title at SummerSlam. I think we're still going to do Rhea Asuka at Backlash.
A little while longer.
Calling it WrestleMania Backlash seems to me that it's going to be basically the WrestleMania card, or the championship matches at least, do-overs, right? Seems to be the way it's lining up. So I see Rhea Asuka for the rematch. Rhea Charlotte for SummerSlam for the title.
WrestleMania playback. Lash.
There we
go. But something new happened. We got, like we said earlier, shockingly, Randy Orton did not face Braun Strowman. He faced Matt Riddle because Matt Riddle...
We have a new booking gimmick.
He apparently is going to ride up to people backstage while they're giving an interview and just circle them and ask really inane...
He's just going to grab a bro, and then they have a match.
Ask a bunch of inane questions like a kid in the backseat on a really long car ride. It's actually... you know what? It's not for everybody. It's definitely for me. I crack up every time at it. And it pissed off Randy Orton so much. He goes to Adam Pearce and goes, hey, you know that kid that rides around the scooter, long hair, annoying voice? He needs to learn some respect for me. I want to match with him, and I'm going to teach him some respect. Adam Pearce goes, okay, I can make that happen. Orton says, great. And he goes, so you know his name is, I don't care. I don't care what his name is.
It doesn't matter what his name is.
This was great. That's probably one of my favorite writing choices on Raw in a while, is Randy Orton just not even knowing Riddle's name.
Yeah, I don't care.
Like,
it doesn't matter.
I don't know this. I don't know who this kid is. I don't care. I'm just going to kick his ass. Which, now, if the match had turned out differently, I think I would have thought that was a bad look. It makes Riddle look like a nobody. It's bad looking for him.
Especially after getting his ass whipped by Bobby Lashley last week.
2 weeks in a row, and then Sheamus at WrestleMania.
Right.
It's a bad look. Yeah. So I initially was like, ooh, kind of cringing, like laughing, but cringing at this. Well, then we had the match. And the match was interesting because on the one hand, it was a really good match. Great psychology. The pace was fantastic. Of course, it's Orton, and he's working with a guy out there who's as explosive as Matt Riddle. You expect it's going to be good. It was great. But the interesting thing is, halfway through the match, Orton messes up his shoulder. I couldn't tell if it was when he actually just went to throw a punch at Riddle. Riddle, let's see, he blocked an exploder suplex, went to punch Riddle, and missed, and just kind of threw out his shoulder. I couldn't tell if it was there or the power slam he did shortly afterwards where he messed it up. But somewhere around there, Randy jacked his shoulder. And you could see him trying to stretch it out. He immediately, Matt Riddle stopped going for it, started going for the other shoulder. Orton was only throwing forearms with his left. He went to do a shoulder tackle into the post with his left, which is not his dominant. And so he did, it looked a little weird. He wrestled the rest of this match with a bum shoulder. And hopefully there was only a couple of spots where the shoulder really took any kind of hits or had to do any movements, including him going for the RKO and then getting countered into a crucifix pin. 1, 2, 3. Matt Riddle upset, beats Randy Orton even with his gimpy shoulder. Orton went through the entire match. I hope he didn't injure his shoulder more in doing so.
Yeah, I wonder if they hotshot the call to put Riddle over.
I don't think. No, it was too clean. That reversal on the RKO was way too clean. That looked like they knew exactly what they were doing.
I don't know. If he's really injured, we'll find out, and it'll make sense.
He did that entire match. There's no if he wanted to, they wanted to hotshot it. They could have hotshotted it way earlier in that match.
True.
They did the full finish of that match.
True.
So I think they went
he
all the
might
way
be
through.
out for a while. So that why put Randy over if he's going to be out for a while?
Well, but I'm saying
and continue the demise of Riddle 3 weeks in a row.
But that's my point. I don't think they were doing that to Riddle. I think the whole point was for Riddle to upset him, Randy to just be completely shocked by this, including taking to Twitter later and like, you know, one of the things that Riddle was saying to him in the backstage that was annoying him was like, "Hey man, what do you think about like us tagging up, like you know, RK Bro?
RK what?
Like I could come out, RK Bro. There it is. You have that button now.
Just today, guys."
And I can come out and like I can kick off my slippers and all the birds can fly out and you can come out and you can be like a snake. And afterwards, Randy Orton was tweeting out, "RK Bro, huh? He's thinking about it. Oh well, it's 420. Light it up." Randy is down with the trees. He's down with the trees. That man has openly admitted to being high at WrestleMania.
Yep.
You know he and Riddle are blazing somewhere as we speak right now.
Probably with RVD. He's hanging out somewhere in Orlando.
Do you think, okay, barring Randy being injured and out, which let's hope he's not. Let's hope he's not. This is not serious what's happened to his shoulder or something he can work through. What's the next step? Is this a feud? Is this like an odd couple kind of pairing? Because I don't know which one I would want more.
You put it like that. That's intriguing. I don't think Randy's done with the Fiend. Is Randy done with the Fiend? Like
he said, he's done. He said the Fiend will never come back into this arena again. Well, not while I'm here. His exact words on the show.
Does that mean the Fiend's going to SmackDown?
I hope so.
Me too.
Anyway, especially with Alexa Bliss doing her crap. But
We'll
okay, so Randy Orton. Could he be the Pete Dunne to Matt Riddle on the main roster?
I'm
Would that be an interesting
shocked that
next
I'm
step?
admitting this, but yes, that would be a really good tag team.
Dude,
Bro. Sweet.
Yeah, there's a lot you could do with that. There's a lot you could do with that. Even if they were to just have a feud, even if like, you know, all the Twitter stuff was out of kayfabe and Randy's, you know, they're still in a feud in kayfabe and Randy now he wants revenge for the humiliation that Riddle gave him. Even if that's the case, I'm down for a feud between Riddle and Randy. If his shoulder's okay, let's go. I hope his shoulder's okay because I don't know what else you do with Riddle at this point. I don't know who else you have him go against. So, yeah.
After the bit we had with Sheamus, I'm not sure either.
Yeah. It looks like Sheamus is going to be holding on to that title for a while.
Kyle throwing 100 bits said, "I got the feeling we are getting Becky and Rhea for SummerSlam, and the Charlotte feud keeps Rhea busy during the summer." I think that's very optimistic.
Possible speculation. Yeah. I mean, that'd be nice. I think everyone wants Becky to come back. With her not coming back at WrestleMania, it makes me wonder when they're going to pull that trigger.
I would like Becky to come back and get her title back off of Asuka. I think that tells a better story. And then you have Becky go off and fight Rhea and Charlotte over the rest of the year. I don't know.
I think Heyman was quoted recently as saying, you know, yes, obviously at some point you want Becky to come back. The question is what story to tell. Yeah. Because there are so many. There are so many stories you could tell with Becky. Which one will they go with? There's a bunch of great options. Like you argued a good one there. I could argue like 5 more really awesome options.
I mentioned last week, put her with Seth on SmackDown and
sure,
have her be part of that Messiah group, you know?
Right. There's a bunch of good options for Becky coming back. It's just a matter of what they land on and what the time frame is and when they want to do it. As long as they don't stick her in the women's tag division, which, dear God, is an apocalyptic hellhole. Lana and Naomi got their shots again at the tag team champions because why not? Why not? What the hell? They come out. There's a bit of a match going on. They're taking it to Nia. They're not looking that great, but it's fine. It's whatever. And out come Mandy and Dana to show us basically all of the women's segments from last week on Raw. They showed us Shayna and Nia laughing at Mandy falling at WrestleMania on the TV. They showed Mandy laying out Nia with a forearm. They show her and Dana beating up Nia. Then they show Nia falling in the ring and Mandy laughing at her. And this enrages Nia so much that she leaves the match while Shayna has Lana in an arm bar or in an arm lock, wrist lock. Nia runs up the ramp. Shayna gets distracted too by Nia being distracted and allows Lana to tag Naomi. And then Shayna gets double teamed and eats a pin again. After which she's furious with Nia. Backstage, she screams at her saying, "You are always getting distracted. Knock it off or else. I lost out there because you got distracted. Quit it." Mandy and Dana backstage had to clarify that we're not the bullies. Nia's the bully. So, Nick, I can see you over there breathing deeply, trying to remain calm.
I'm really trying.
Well, let it out, buddy. What did you think about all this?
This has no future for any of these ladies. This serves no purpose. It hasn't served any purpose for almost 6 months now. We've been doing literally this exact same thing for at least 4 to 6 months. And I'm over it. I get up and go get a snack anytime the women's tag team stuff is coming on. Because I'm over it. I'm done. And the fact that you have wasted Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, you had an opportunity here. You had an opportunity with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. It's unfortunate.
Mandy Rose, and by the way, let's also call a spade a spade. Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke are coming out looking like rejects from the Divas era.
Totally.
Like they are a complete devolution of the women's revolution.
This woman
nothing to do with
is
their talent.
The
They're both very talented.
Of my existence. She has loomed over my shoulder for 2 years now. Thank you, patrons.
You're welcome, buddy.
And she continues to loom over the women's division in WWE. And I'm not sure why they are willing to forsake someone like Shayna Baszler, Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, and Naomi for that.
I'm not saying it's because she has family connections, but I'm not saying that. I genuinely don't know either, Nick. I do know that she's getting a lot more, like it's all revolving around her, right? Yeah. She's the fulcrum. And that is a little bit strange when you have so many other women that could be dynamic and interesting to build stories around. The stories are all revolving around Nia, her and Reginald, her and now Angel Garza, who came up and asked her why she's hanging out with that clown Reginald. So she might be having like a love triangle now. So Nia might not only be having issues with her tag team partner and with these two blondes who want to beat her up because she's making fun of them, but she also might be having issues between Reginald, the circus guy, and Garza Dong.
The two girls that want to beat her up, but yet when Nia goes backstage to confront them as they're having an interview with Sarah Schreiber, they run off. Yeah. Why not, you've got her there by herself. You've cornered her. Beat her ass. Why not jump her and beat her down?
Because they're wimps. They ran away from her in the middle of a match. Remember, Nick?
Yeah, of course.
They had a match,
How could I
and
forget?
She scared that she got really mad, and they ran away and lost their tag team championship opportunity because they didn't want to face an angry Nia Jax. Oh my God! It makes them look bad. It doesn't make her look great because she would look like a fool for walking out on this match. It makes Shayna look like a doof for getting pinned all the time. Lana and Naomi look like, they can only win if they're double teaming somebody. Yeah, no, I agree. This doesn't make anybody look good. We didn't even have a real match. We're not even getting real matches in this division. This is basically, when we say we want to see all the women get represented on TV, this is not how we want to see this. So no. I'll agree with that. That being said, I am kind of intrigued at Angel Garza plying his charms on Nia Jax. Yeah.
No.
Get him on TV. Let him do something, for God's sake.
Costanza throwing 100 bits said F-bomb time. No, I've got this thing over here.
Yeah, Nick doesn't get to drop F-bombs. He gets censored.
I get to hot button myself. Thank you, Chris.
I'm the F-bomb guy.
Kyle threw in 100 bits, said the two positives. There were no positives out of this.
Yes, there
No
are.
Oh, God, I'm going to read this begrudgingly. Getting Shayna away from Nia fractures starting. They've been starting that since they formed the team. It's part of the gimmick.
Nick on that. Yeah, this feels a little bit like Cedric and Shelton. I'm like, until this gets really going, I'm not going to believe they're going to follow through on it. Same with
I'll believe it when I see it.
Angel Garza and Andrade, right? They always throw the stuff in there, and sometimes they follow through, and sometimes they don't.
But seriously, WWE, how is it you make everyone in your tag division outside Lana and Naomi look like assholes? There are no baby faces you can get behind here.
Lana and Naomi look like assholes tonight.
They look like opportunistic assholes tonight. Last night.
Yeah. Everyone looks like an asshole in the tag division.
There is absolutely no redeeming factors of the women's tag division.
Except the Riot Squad.
In WWE.
The Riot Squad does not. Even at WrestleMania, they didn't.
And the one redeeming thing that they had, they split up and then fired them.
Well, they had Tamina and Natalya actually get over in the match at WrestleMania. People were cheering for Tamina. They were like, "Yes, cool. She looks badass. She's laying it in. She looks good.
Where have they been the last 2 weeks?
Let's let her win." And then Natty taps out. Crazy. Yeah, this is definitely one of the lowest points of the show. However, a little bit of another high point. Sheamus.
This was my one, by the way.
Sheamus. Hey, look there. See, Nick. Yeah, you had a moment.
You told me to let you know.
There it is. This is your one. All right. We found Nick's happy spot. Because Sheamus went back to Adam Pearce's office. Adam Pearce tried to convince Sheamus to have an open challenge for his title, and Sheamus said, "What, are you trying to trick me into being John Cena? I'm better than John Cena. But I'll do it anyway because that sounds fun. I'll be able to beat a lot of people up. Cool." So he goes to the ring later on in the show and says, "Right, it's time for my open challenge for this U.S. title. Come out, who wants to touch a piece of real gold?"
I thought he said he wasn't going to do it for the title. He would just do it.
Nah, he said it's for the title.
Oh, okay. I missed
maybe
that part.
Title,
I thought there was some argument about whether or not it would be for the title.
He basically said, "I'll do what I want."
Oh, okay.
He's like, some weeks, even in his speech, he's like, "I'm going to defend this every week if I feel like it." Right. So, all right. The writers are off the hook with finding something for Sheamus every week. Well, whatever. He's in the middle of talking about it, and who should come out to try to ply his trade but Humberto Carrillo. Haven't seen him on Raw in a while. Been over there on Main Event, being a misused talent. Well, he comes out looking fantastic. The kid is.
This was your number one hot prospect 2 years ago.
He still is. Dude's a blue chipper.
Wow, okay.
They're
still feel that strongly.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This kid is amazing. I don't disagree. It's like Murphy with more charisma.
Wow. Okay.
He's incredible. But he comes out of the ring, gets in, is doing his entrance pose, and Sheamus just hits him from the back, beats the absolute crap out of this kid. You thought Charlotte beat up that ref for a long time? My God, Sheamus is still somewhere beating up Humberto Carrillo. He's on Main Event beating him up. We're going to come back to Raw next week. Sheamus still beating up Humberto Carrillo. He beat him up forever.
You know what? That's some of the stuff I missed from the Attitude Era, the continuation of stuff like that where they would do some fun stuff with Stone Cold. He's still back there beating people up. We would cut from SmackDown on Thursday to a Raw on Monday, and Stone Cold's still going apeshit backstage. Like, I hate to get all Attitude Era mark on it, but I mean, that's
too late.
There's so much more they could do with 3 hours of television. Why don't they do it?
This was a good 10 minutes right here. Good little segment. Ultimately, it is too bad about Carrillo, but
Yeah, but it's just all of these are 10-minute chunks, and there's no grand storyline through anything really.
That's true. Right now, there isn't a through line, and I do miss those Raws where they do a little more creative work and they get a through line through the show to keep you engaged for the 3 hours. This definitely felt very chopped up and piecemeal. I'll grant you that.
Yeah.
About as chopped up and piecemeal as Humberto Carrillo was after this beatdown.
Costanza threw in 100 bits, said, "Iconic." Rest in peace. Good luck.
Rest in peace.
Peyton Royce teasing AEW on social media a little bit.
Of course she is.
Mr. Spears.
That's where her husband
female member of the Pinnacle.
Bring it on.
Yes. Thank you, Chris.
Bring it on.
Kyle Cott's around 100 bits said, I'm all in for the Sheamus Open Challenge with the Murderous Irishman. Just if you're going to have someone do it, maybe let them at least get over somewhat rather than getting absolutely destroyed. Like the only time I see Carrillo on TV, he's getting sent to the hospital like he's Spike Dudley.
It is sad. That is sad, but I like the precedent it establishes for Sheamus.
Yeah.
Come on out. I'm just going to beat the crap out of you. Like I'm not even going to let you challenge for the title before we get the bell. I'm just going to beat you up. If that's the precedent he's setting here, I like the way that they're setting that up.
You know what? This actually
good
sets up something really nice. And this
What's
was
that?
my one thing, and I see it getting called out in chat, so I want to weigh in here, guys. The reason I had this, I told you at the beginning, this was my one thing.
Yeah.
There was a man who we love that was supposed to be the United States champion before he got injured. And I could see a streak here where we have Sheamus coming out and doing this open challenges, just laughing, beating down little cruiserweights for the next 2-3 weeks. And then one time he's going to issue an open challenge, and we're going to have the return of Keith Lee. And
I think
if that
very
comes
likely
to be, holy shit. Yes, please put it in my freaking eye holes.
Keith's been teasing a return on Twitter now. He says it's coming soon. So I think that's very likely, and that would be a great way to do it.
Absolutely. But make Sheamus look like a monster beating down these cruiserweights for 2-3 weeks before you pull the trigger on that. Because it'll make it that much more impactful when we're going to get to like week 4 and we're like, oh, God, which little 175-pounder is going to get their ass whipped tonight? Oh, basket is glory. Oh, yeah, here it comes. It'll be, and we'll all just lose our minds. Right? It'll make it that much sweeter.
We will. I'll mark that one.
Thank you, Cal. Thank you, Chris. Let's see. Yeah, that was all the call-outs. We're good. What'd you think of this? Overall?
Like I said, I thought this was a good segment. I liked it. I liked what it's setting up for Sheamus. I think they're going in the right direction here, and I like that he started off looking like a monster. Yeah. Also looking like a monster on the show, thank God, after last week, Damien Priest. Damien Priest, who came out during a Miz TV segment, which was basically just Miz and Maurice putting over their new reality show, which is now in its second season and coming up right after Raw.
It's fantastic. If you're not watching Miz and Mrs., it is good, wholesome, quality content.
I heard Maurice's mom is hilarious.
She is. She's the best thing. Marjo.
All right. Well,
her and Maurice talk in French to make fun of Miz because he can't speak it. It's hilarious.
Well, it was fun here because after they had a little celebration about how great Miz is and how great Maurice is, and they had a lot of PDA, and the announcers were not happy about it. Out came Damien Priest to also interrupt the PDA and speak Spanish to them, tell them that how awful they were and that Miz was an asshole. And Maurice started speaking French to him, and it was very cosmopolitan for a second there in the ring, Nick. Even including Damien Priest trying the champagne and saying, "Oh, this is trash. Right. No, Buffy, this champagne is disgusting. How can you drink this swill?
How dare you?"
Miz tosses his champagne in Damien Priest's face, and of course we have a match. Maurice opens her big mouth and says, "My husband can take you out." And Miz goes, What are you doing?
Honey.
What are you doing, honey? She goes, No, you got this. You got this. I believe in you. I spent the last 5 minutes fluffing your ego. You can take out this guy. So Miz says, okay. So we have a match. And sure enough, for the most part, Damien Priest was doing really well. Maurice distracts him. Miz gets an advantage. Damien Priest fights his way back up. Maurice tries to distract him again. He doesn't go for it. Miz ends up getting a roll-up on him. He tries to go for the same trick as last week with getting his feet on the ropes. Maurice holding down his feet. This time, Damien Priest knows it's coming, kicks out, and then lays Miz out with the hit the lights. 1, 2, 3. Damien Priest stands tall and redeems himself from last week. He looked like $1 million here. He looked like a superstar. Miz and Maurice were entertaining. This segment was fine. It was fine. It advanced the storylines. I thought that it was great the way that they redeemed Damien Priest from last week, where he even said, like, okay, you got one over on me. You pinned me. You know what? I can pin you whenever I want. And he proved it. That's babyface. That's following up on something we thought was a questionable decision booking-wise by taking it home, taking the storyline home this week.
You mean making Damien Priest babyface?
Making him...
Uh-oh. Oh, you're back.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. Weird noises.
Woo. That was scary.
The aliens are here. The other thing that was interesting here was no Morrison. Morrison was conspicuously absent, but Maurice was all over the segment.
John Morrison in NXT. What?
Are maybe or yeah? Now that Frankie Monet is here, like what do you think is the future with Morrison here? Is this going to be like an odd man out situation with him and Miz? Is Maurice here just for a little bit to promote the show, and then they're back to Miz and Morrison in a couple of weeks? What do you think's happening?
I don't know.
What do you want to happen?
I like Miz and Maurice. I think as the power couple thing, I liked it previously when they did it. I didn't necessarily like the John Cena and Nikki Bella stuff, even though their side of it was freaking hilarious.
Oh my God, Maurice's
absolutely
imitation
loved
of Nikki Bella.
I loved Miz's imitation of John Cena, and
God.
and Maurice's Nikki Bella was spot on perfect.
That shit was amazing. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Yeah, it was. Listen, I'm a huge fan of Miz and Maurice as a power couple. That we've seen Mike Bennett, Kanellis, and Maria do this over the years in really well in certain places, not so much in WWE. But I think Miz and Maurice are the it couple, literally, and it shows. And I think when they come on, they exude the kind of stuff that you want to see. So having them in some kind of couples feud, it doesn't make sense to have John Morrison involved here. I'm wondering, but we need an exit story. We need some way to exit John Morrison from the last year that we've had with him and Miz.
Yeah, having him just leave because Maurice is back and he's no longer like the best friend gets kicked out for the wife. Like that could be a 2-week story, and he's out and he's off doing his own thing. Have a solo career. You know what I mean? Have him go do something else. That's fine. We had a lot of time with Miz and Morrison. They were fun. They're not for everybody, but I really enjoyed them. I always thought their bits were hilarious. I thought their chemistry was fantastic. They're the good comic timing. Split Morrison off. That guy still has so much he could be doing. So yeah, if it's Miz and Maurice, I'm not mad at it. If it's Miz and John Morrison, that's fine too. Like I said, they're entertaining.
We've had a year of it. It's time to move on.
Chris Costanza just completely made me corpse. He absolutely killed me.
Okay.
Because he just brought up the Continental. I was talking about the champagne with Damien Priest. Would you like to try some of my champagne? I have some of the best champagne from all over the world. Come into my room. You look so lovely tonight. Hey. Also a chance to do my horrible Chris Walken impression. So from now on, Damien Priest.
You're no Kevin Pollak.
Deep voice. No one is. Yeah. Or Jay Moore. Jay Moore is the true Walken maestro. But yeah. Anyway, that cracked me up.
100 bits said a rare shout out to the writers for the "You have no balls" line from Priest, given the episode subject matter after Raw. Spoiler alert: Miz got a vasectomy.
Yep.
So, yeah, clever.
Also, Damien Priest called out Jake Paul. He said, "You think that you're a real fighter, but you're not, just like Jake Paul."
Right. Because he had that staged fight or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Where the guy's like the ex-MMA guy he's on my workout plan.
Yeah. He took $100,000 and bet it against himself and took the payday.
Exactly.
Right.
Oh yeah, no, I can't fight anymore. The ref, he wobbled a little bit, and the ref's like, "Calling the fight."
Yeah.
Like, yeah. That's what people paid their money to see. Is the guy
Jake
wobbles
Paul with a KO in the second round, whatever it was.
I mean, it was a really good hook. But that's all Jake Paul has is a hook.
Yeah.
Which means if they do have a feud with him and Damien Priest, he's basically going to be hooking him in the ribs. So, anyway, neither here nor there. I wonder if they're trying to angle for the other Paul brother.
Yeah.
To come and get some in WWE. But anyway, couple more things on Raw. Elias had a match with Kofi Kingston. So you kind of know what's going to happen. Kofi Kingston's going to get in there. He's a former WWE champion. He's going to beat Elias. No! Upset City! We had a few upsets on this show, Nick. We had a few upsets.
Well, the best part of this whole thing was Xavier Woods coming out with he's trying to learn bass. So instead of Francesca, the trombone, he now comes out
he's coming out with a bass.
A bass.
He's got the moves. He's got the bass moves down.
He should have learned the New Day entrance song so he could have slapped bass because there's a really nice bass hook in that song.
It's a really great bass line in that song, and he knows how to do the Stone Cold one. That's because the Stone Cold one is the easiest bass line in the history of bass lines. Da-dun, 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 da-dun. Oh, 3 notes. 3 notes.
No, it's literally it's dun-dun, dun-dun, dun. It's literally one string press. That's it.
No. It's not dun dun.
Oh, sure. When you get into the riff, yeah.
That's what he played. He played it in the middle of the match. He was playing the Stone Cold riff. Anyway, the bottom line is Xavier's he's just learning the bass now.
Hang on, I got to go look up tabs now. Hang on. We're gonna solve this live on the show now.
But did we gloss over the fact that Elias beat Kofi Kingston clean as a whistle, smack dab in the middle of the ring, no interference, no nothing. He beat Kofi Kingston. Kofi tried to do a poison Rana. Elias, I looked like he didn't do it. Or they say he blocked. And then he comes off with a really beautiful looking Macho Man flying elbow drop. Beautiful looking.
Mm-hmm.
Hit it right into Kofi Kingston's caved in chest. And 1, 2, 3. He wins the damn match. What? Oh, God. Why? Nick, explain this to me. Why? Like, okay, fine. I'm cool. I'm cool with having booking like this, right? I'm cool with people getting wins. And then you go, okay, let me dissect what that means if this person can beat this person. But we've established that Elias can't win a match to save his life.
Yeah.
Right? He can't even beat Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
And now he's beating Kofi Kingston clean. That is, and without any explanation, like he's got his head in the right place. He's not doing anything differently. He just woke up today, ate his Wheaties, and beat Kofi Kingston.
Do you want the crazy Nick booking answer?
Sure.
New Day are 11-time champs. Xavier's had an Achilles injury. Kofi's not a spring chicken anymore. Putting people out over on their way out. Big E is split off into a singles.
On their way out. I'm not going to say on their way out, but I do think
a long way out, you know?
I think it's possible that this was to make Elias and Jackson look more legitimate.
Yep.
On their way to, being a bigger tag team. I think that's the only explanation I could come up with.
By the way, 2 weeks in a row, 2 Raws in a row, we haven't seen AJ and Omos on TV. That's true. Your new Raw Tag Team Champions. Where are the Raw Tag Team Champions?
I don't know. They're taking a vacation to Disney World, which is reopened now.
Awesome.
Also 2 weeks on Raw, Viking Raiders versus Cedric and Shelton. Exact same match, exact same outcome. Viking Experience 1, 2, 3. Second segment of the show. What was up with that?
Viking
Why did we have the
Express
exact same match
twice?
twice?
That's the Viking Express.
That's
my favorite wrestling move. The Viking Express.
They corrected Adnan. That's right. And with the Viking Experience, Adnan, they win the match. That's right. That Viking Express got them again.
They don't stand a chance against that Viking Express.
He's been watching. Oh man, Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express. Now we have the Viking Express. I think
that's better than Viking Experience.
You're not wrong, actually. Maybe Adnan's just putting it out there until they do it.
Right.
I'm just going to keep saying this.
Hey, I like that better. Use that from now on. Pal. Costanza threw in a 200 bits. Thank you very much, sir. Said, for Sir Ian, love Christopher Walken.
Yes.
We all love Chris Walken.
Oh, you're dissing. Wait. Hold on. You're insulting my
Frankenstein never scared me. Marsupials do.
You're an eggplant. Yeah. So then finally, Alexa Bliss. She's telling us all about her new doll, Lily. And apparently, plot twist, Alexa's been listening to this evil doll since she was a little girl. So her whole evil thing didn't start with the Fiend. It started when she was very little and she was pushing kids off of swings because the doll told her to. Okay. So apparently this little possessed doll has been Alexa's friend for longer than the Fiend, which is why she listened to the doll when the doll said, I don't like the Fiend. Okay. So, Nick, you and I both are fine going down the supernatural cuckoo-cuckoo rabbit hole here. Was this a bridge too far for you?
Oh, way too far.
Why? What made this different than the Fiend stuff?
Because of the meta.
The meta? Explain.
Okay. The Fiend debuts. It's the most amazing thing we've ever seen. There's been some stumbles along the way. Seth Rollins, Goldberg. But the Fiend lore continues. Amazing return out of the Jack in the Box at WrestleMania. And then we get that weird finish that we didn't really like in the moment, but the more I've thought about it, you can do something with this. This is kind of cool. It's sort of the reemergence.
Still the wrong decision.
I agree.
Still the wrong decision.
I'm not debating that.
It's the wrong decision.
I'm not debating that. I agree with you.
I'm still hot.
I'm saying that there was potential there to do something big with Alexa Bliss.
Yes.
Whatever that thorny crown thing that was spraying black goo, that was creepy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I love that shit, right? That was amazing to look at. There was so much, and you're going to tell me.
It was so creepy.
Hang on.
If she had so much oil pouring out of her face, the U.S. military was called in.
You're going to tell me that you're going to go from that to completely undermining everything that they've built up with her around the Fiend to just saying, oh, yeah, the Fiend's irrelevant. I've had this doll since I was a kid. What? So are they pulling like a final boss kind of thing? Like Alexa is actually the one that's controlling the Fiend? They better, because that's where this feels like it's going. Otherwise, you've just made the Fiend irrelevant.
What this seemed like to me is where they're going with this is Alexa always had some evil to her, and that's why the Fiend was attracted to her in the first place and was drawn to her and was able to bring out her evil. And then she realized what her doll really was, and so now the doll is empowering her, and she's now able to communicate with the doll fully and realizes that the doll has been controlling her entire life. So now she's actually coming into her power because she's realized all of the aspects that were there since she was a child. Is what I took.
You're
from
the horror expert here.
That's
legit,
what I
right?
That's what I'm saying. Like this feels kind of like she was always possessed, and the demon always knew that she was an easy vessel, like that kind of thing, right?
I just don't want to see the Fiend be collateral damage in order for Alexa Bliss to tell a story about a stupid doll. Like, this better work. This better mean something.
Yeah.
Or you've just undermined one of the greatest gimmicks in WWE history.
Well, and one of the reasons it undermines it is because it makes the Fiend look stupid for getting taken by Alexa Bliss. And then, in addition, you have Alexa Bliss saying that the doll doesn't like anyone in the women's division either, and she's going to come for all of them, which is really scary because, like with the Fiend in the men's division, you got to be really careful how you do that.
Yep.
And we've seen times where it works, like with the first half of Randy Orton and the Fiend up to where he burns him alive, like with Daniel Bryan and the Fiend. Like there's times that with Finn Balor where he gets squashed. There's times the Fiend can be terrifying. There's times when that can be really cool. There's also been times where, as you said, they haven't known what to do with this character because you've made them too overpowered. And then they book themselves into a corner, like with Hell in a Cell and with Goldberg when he has the title. So right off the bat here, I went, oh no, they're going to do to Alexa in the women's division what they did to the Fiend in the men's division. And they're also undermining the Fiend by making him look like he's got a blind spot. He's not the mastermind that we were led to believe he was, which is, it's way more interesting when he is. It's way less interesting when he's not.
Yep. You're cutting his legs off at his knees, you know?
Yeah. So whether or not you like this kind of stuff in your wrestling, like it's as from just a,
which to be clear,
story and booking, we do, but from a story and booking standpoint, this is setting WWE up for a lot of problems.
Yep.
And problems that typically are issues with WWE story and booking. Like they're walking back. This has me very trepidatious. They're walking back into a landmine field of their own creation. So it's while there are aspects of this that are cool, that definitely, I mean, the doll looks creepy. Alexa looks creepy with her eyes and everything. There's aspects of this that I like, but man, is this just, it's fraught with peril.
Yep.
Peril.
Also, when does she start participating in the women's division again?
That's what worries me.
And I don't know that we've ever had a supernatural gimmick, at least this intense, in the women's division before. Am I forgetting something?
How much do you want to bet that her first person that she takes out is Nikki Cross? Bring back Nikki Cross for the first time in months as she faces Alexa. This is the only person they can think of.
I hate
How
that
much you want to bet? Sorry, buddy. WWE logic.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
Yeah.
But that's it for Raw. Do we have to do any catching up?
Yeah, one from Kyle for 100 bits. Thank you, sir. Said,
yes.
So over under for how long Alexa and Pritchard's nonsense kills the Raw's women's division, the Raw women's division, with the no-sell nonsense that put death nails into Seth's face run and Asuka's title reign. This is a dead end of bad waiting to happen still. It is.
Yeah.
It totally
you're not
is.
entirely wrong. You're not wrong. I'm not going to say 100% that it is. I'm just going to say that if history's any example, this is not going in the right direction.
I trust in Bray. This reeks of too many cooks in the kitchen.
I trusted in Bray, and then Vince changed the match end at WrestleMania. And ultimately we found out that Bray's not in 100% creative control here. Not that we ever thought he was, but at least that we thought Vince would listen to him. And we found out that he won't. Vince will still do Vince's thing, which is this shouldn't be surprising. And ultimately that means that Bray, at the end of the day, no matter how much he builds us up, no matter how excited we get about something he does, at the end of the day, the old man will find a way to screw him over again, because that's all he's ever done to him. And I'm sorry to leave Raw on a bit of a down note there, but overall, Nick, after going through Raw and picking it apart, was it really as bad as you thought it was at the beginning, or were there more bright spots?
Actually, it was worse than I thought it was.
Oh, no.
Because I've now had to spend an additional hour and a half on top of the 3 hours talking about what a piece of hot shit it was. It was bad. And I'm done being nice about it. I'm sorry if that offends some of you. I now look forward to Tuesday night and Wednesday night, because I get to hang out with all of you and watch NXT later after we're done. And then, so it's like back-to-back nights of NXT and AEW and BWO, and it's like, it's the palate cleanse. It's the good time of the week, right? And then it's bookended by...
Well, hopefully they're moving in the right direction. I saw a lot of stuff on Raw this week that made me hopeful. Skeptically optimistic. Fine, Nick. You can be down on this week. I will try and stay hopeful.
You're gonna have to carry that hope for some time, sir.
I will, and I'll carry it on over to our discussion of this week's Rebellion pay-per-view, brought to you by Impact.
Well, before we get started, I got to call out Jay Wolf, 1974. Resubscribed with a tier 1 for 8 months. He's on an 8-month streak. That means he gets a little big old bucket of chicken. Thank you very much, Jay. Welcome back, man. Thank you for the sub.
Thank you very much.
Impact Rebellion happening this Sunday, the 25th. We've got some interesting things that are going to be going down.
Very.
The thing that I'm most interested in is the first match we're going to talk about here, but more specifically, who's going to be calling that match on commentary?
Mauro Ranallo is coming to Impact to call.
Mauro Ranallo's in the Impact Zone. What?
Yes. What? Rich Swann versus Kenny Omega. Title versus title. Scott D'Amore has actually said there will be a winner, and that winner will be champion of both companies. No fudge finish. No nonsense. One of these two guys will be both Impact and AEW champion after this match. Now, obviously, conventional wisdom would say that's going to be Kenny Omega. But is there a chance there could be a bump in the road for Kenny and Rich could take it?
No.
I just had to throw it out
Rich.
there. Yeah. He had a good
with
run.
Don Callis' connections. I mean, this all and the Good Brothers, and like this all works.
And Rich had a good run. He got to unify the title with Moose. You know, he'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Kenny is a bigger draw. Just hard facts. Yeah. So it is what it is. I'm sure that they will have some sort of shenanigans where they'll protect Rich on the way out. Right. But it's Kenny Omega's coming to AEW this week. Next week, with that Impact title as well.
Yep.
He's coming with all the titles. He's going to start coming out with all the titles on him. They go like one on each arm and one around the waist.
And a buck on each side of him with the tag team championships.
Quite possibly. And then also, we're having Finjuice defending the titles they won from the Good Brothers against the Good Brothers at the same Rebellion pay-per-view. So it's possible you could have Kenny Omega come out next week on AEW with the AEW Heavyweight Championship, the Impact Championship, the AAA Mega Campeon Championship, the Young Bucks both champions, and the Good Brothers both champions. That's strapped.
Draped.
That's a lot of straps.
That's dripping in gold.
Yeah. So that's pretty insane. That's two matches right there. Reason to watch the show. Another reason to watch the show: Deonna Purrazzo versus Tenille Dashwood. Tenille Dashwood finally getting her shot for the Impact Knockouts Championship. That's going to be a killer match. We've also got, for the X Division Championship, an insane triple threat. Ace Austin defending against Josh Alexander and TJP. That's going to be
Put
sick.
it in my eye holes, that match. Good Lord.
We got the grudge match, Matt Cardona versus Brian Myers.
Ooh.
They could never
Are they
get
going
it
to have
going
a match
in
with
WWE.
wrestling figures where they just like, no, okay, suplex me? And they're going to be like on the floor playing with them?
Oh, Lord Helmet, your helmet is so big. Wait, that's a different show.
Did you see me
yeah,
play with my dolls again? No, sir.
No, sir. Good.
No, sir. I did not see you play with your dolls again.
So I have a feling this will still be a good match. You got Brian Myers finally turning heel. He's the most professional wrestler. If you haven't been watching him, he's a cheating scumbag. So that should be a fun little match. Trey Miguel, Sammy Callahan has been playing mind games with him ever since he came back from supposed retirement in January. So this is going to be a nice. I don't know if it's going to be a blow off, but it'll definitely be a grudge match.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. Another match. I'm curious what they're going to do here. Chris Sabin, Eddie Edwards, James Storm, and Willie Mack are taking on Violent by Design. Here's the thing: Violent by Design are Rhino, cool, Joe Doring, cool, Diener, cool, and Eric Young. See, the problem is they taped all their stuff earlier before Eric Young got his ACL injured and is out for 6 to 9 months. They haven't announced who's replacing him in this match.
Do you think they're
So we're
just going
supposed
to
to
play
have
the
a
taped
4-on-4.
match?
They didn't tape this match.
Oh, I thought you said they did
This
tape
match
it.
is yet to. They taped the matches leading up to this. They
Oh.
taped like all the lead up to this before he was injured. Then he got injured, so now they like all the lead up is like, yes, we're having this match on Sunday, but now he's injured, so they had to figure out who. There's no report on who they're putting in this match instead of Eric.
Wow.
So I'm not quite sure what they're going to do here.
Be interesting to see if they swap it out or just make it a handicap.
Or if they just have him, in a brace outside the ring. I haven't heard if he's gotten a surgery yet or not. So
ACLs
and then,
you can move
finally,
around on after a couple of weeks.
Yeah. And finally, Fire and Flava, Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steeles are going to be defending versus Jordan Grace. And to be determined, Jazz actually was, I believe, supposed to be in this, but she retired early. So it's now Jordan's doesn't have a partner. So we will see who's in that match as well. So still some stuff to shuffle around in the next 6 days. But we don't have time to do this on our Friday show, so we had to talk about it now.
Yes.
Because obviously the big news, of course, is the top few matches, and especially the top one itself, which has ramifications for multiple companies. Actually, the top 2 matches have implications for multiple companies because Finn Juice are from New Japan.
I was going to say
as well.
This might be the first. I can't think of a mainstream TV show like AEW that's gonna or even Impact like this, where you're gonna have AEW, Impact, and New Japan all represented on the same pay-per-view. Have we ever done that before? I mean, obviously not with AEW, but
not with AEW. I mean, Impact and New Japan, yeah.
And we've had
Ring of Honor,
crossover
New
with
Japan.
Ring of Honor before as well.
Ring of Honor, New Japan.
Yeah.
Like we've had crossovers like this.
But I mean,
just
this
not
kind of
AEW.
this level of like integration, where Kenny, like you said, Kenny could potentially walk out with 3 championships and the Good Brothers titles and the Young Bucks titles.
It's been a while since it's happened on this level, on this, this big of a stage, if you will.
Yeah.
So very exciting.
Jay Wolf threw in 200 bits back on Raw. It was a terrible Raw. Just because it was better than last week's does not make it good. Thank you, Jay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I admitted that at the top of the show.
Yes.
Didn't say not good, better than last week. Some good stuff on it.
I
Try to stay
at
positive
least
and not
found
go
one or
insane.
2 things on last week's
You
Raw.
did. You found a couple things this Raw.
No. One.
You did.
One maybe.
Yeah, you said you
one
found other
one
ones.
potentially maybe of what the outcome it might
You
lead to.
like Damien Priest winning. You thought Miz and Maurice were funny.
I always love Ms. Marie.
You liked Randy Orton and Riddle.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Bro.
Costanza cheered 300 bits, said, I'm grateful for you guys so I don't have to watch the hot pile of dog shit that used to be the reason Mondays were awesome.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Jay threw in another 100 bits, said, if the Good Brothers don't win, how long till they turn on the Bucks for gold of their own? Now, that is an interesting proposition.
It's funny because I would have said not long, but the Bucks just turned heel.
Yeah.
The fact the Bucks turned heel actually killed that booking for me because
Same.
Now I think they're gonna want it. I don't see a world in which they don't take those titles at some point, and they're all strapped again.
Don't forget, like every transition of a new like head honcho of the Bullet Club in New Japan started with the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks turned on Finn.
Yeah,
put AJ in.
Young Bucks turn on AJ.
Turned on AJ.
Kenny.
Put Kenny in.
They turn on everybody, don't they?
So
they didn't turn on Kenny though.
Well, they kind of did.
The Elite did have a bit of an issue there. They kind of joined up with Cody, didn't they? They are little scumbags, aren't they?
They are little shitbags.
They'll turn on everybody.
But some good storytelling for the last decade from those guys.
But right. But no, it's an interesting question. I mean, if they don't win the belts and all four of them are heel, how do they split up the Elite? I think they've just got the Elite reunited. If they go back and splitting them up again, it's just too long, too many years of, as the Elite turns,
yep.
And all the infighting in the Elite. Like, just let them be a faction for a while.
Yeah, the stop-start stuff in AEW since it's been on has been a little frustrating. I mean, Hangman and Young Bucks and all that. I mean, I can remember we were having interviews with JR and Hangman and Kenny were at each other a little bit, and even though they were the tag team champions, and then the Young Bucks were trying to play, middlemen.
That's long-term storytelling.
Sure.
Like I don't mind that. It's just the wishy-washy. Are Young Bucks bad guys or not? Like we were saying they were acting like dicks towards Hangman a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And then they're still kind of good guys.
No, they're not. Hangman's just drinking too much.
Right, and it's like, are they or aren't they? And it's fine. You can argue that that's nuance.
Yeah.
But then on the other side of things, it was too nuanced into their heel turn, so that didn't really feel like a heel turn. It just felt like they just made a decision to ally with Kenny, and then they didn't feel like heels, so they came out the next week and were dressed different. They fought in the ring different. They forgot they couldn't go to the face corner of the ring anymore. You know what I mean? Like that's when they truly felt like heels. They went all the way. They weren't just kind of like, man, we don't know what we are. So it will be curious to see what happens if Kenny and the Good Brothers win this coming Sunday, how that affects both Impact and AEW. Yeah. So coming up this Sunday, check it out. It's going to be a pretty monumental event.
Yep. Indeed. Well, there you go, guys. There's Raw, there's Impact, but we've got one thing left to do, and that is something we like to call our moment of positivity.
The moment of positivity. That's right. It's a time on the show where we try to find something that was positive about the last few days of wrestling, something that we can talk about that makes us happy, that makes us smile, that makes us feel good inside, and hopefully would make you feel good inside too, all y'all listening and or watching, wherever you may be listening to us and or watching us. You know what I'm talking about, Nick. What is your moment of positivity for these last few days of wrestling? Come on, buddy. You got this. You got this.
I'm looking through the note going, the prospect that Keith Lee could potentially come back and challenge Sheamus this summer for the United States Championship. That's it. That's it.
All you got?
That's all I got. And that's even a pipe dream, right? That's not even something that like really if I had to pick one thing, it's also the hype around what's going on with Kenny. And I mean, they are absolutely knocking that out of the park.
Did you watch the press conference that they held?
Not yet, no.
It was fantastic. Very entertaining.
Yeah. What about you, sir? What was yours?
Well, I was gonna say the masks finally coming off the poor Retribution boys, but like you said earlier, like I'm gonna wait and see on that and see where it goes.
I don't trust it.
I gotta say my moment of positivity is Randy Orton and Riddle cracking me the hell up. Riddle just annoying Randy until his jaw looks like it's about to burst from him clenching it so hard. To him not knowing Riddle's name and just calling him that annoying kid with the long hair. And then the match itself and Randy being a stud and working through a bum arm. And ultimately just the way that Randy sold Riddle's win and Riddle sold Riddle's win. It made it feel like a big deal.
Could have been that superplex actually that busted his wing. There was a superplex spot. He could have come down awkward on it.
No, it was before that. Actually, when he was doing the superplex spot, I was worried about him coming down on it.
Damn, okay.
But no, it was this whole match, everything surrounding it. This whole segment was my favorite part of Raw. It was entertaining. I thought Riddle needed it. He needed to get back after the last 2 big losses he's had. This is a huge one. It doesn't really hurt Randy. He can afford to do this job to Riddle. Again, all positive thoughts for his shoulder. I hope that it's not too injured, so we can see what they have coming up next for this. Because whether it's being aligned or being at odds and being in a feud, I think just this match showed me that Riddle and Randy could be really fun TV.
Yeah,
both in ring and out of ring. So
that's true.
That is my moment of positivity, sir.
Nice. Well, guys, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back after we do our outro here for the patron mailbag. We're going to take a quick break, refresh our drinks, all that good stuff after we get out of here. But we'll be back to answer questions from our patrons on the 78th edition of our patron mailbag show. One of the favorite things that we love doing. But until then, guys, head over to linktree.com/BWO. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, follow, all of the social media things that you guys all know how to do. We do have some stuff. I do have some plans coming for YouTube. So if you prefer watching on YouTube, what's up, Jay? Shout out. I see you over there, man. We do have some news coming for YouTube very soon. Hang tight. We are fastly approaching. We're about down to 1 month to our 4-year anniversary super fantastic special. And we have plans. We have things in the works, some big announcements, some new merch, some new all kinds of stuff. So stay tuned. All of that is going to be a big deal towards the end of May. We'll keep you posted, but
yes,
hang tight. But until then, guys, thank you very much for joining us. Shout out to the patrons. Thanks for all the questions. I was looking them over real quick before the show here, or during the show here, just to make sure that everybody if you haven't got yours in yet, you got about 10 minutes to get over there, throw it in real quick so we can get it covered. If you'd like to get yours in every week, patreon.com/BWO. All you got to be in is that $5 tier. You can send in your questions every week, plus get audio-only versions of every episode, copies of the show notes, bonus episodes also on top of that with the $10 tier, all kinds of good stuff over at patreon.com/BWO. But my name is Nick Howell. You can find me on Twitter at DataCenterDude.
And I am Sir Ian Dangerous. You can find me on Twitter at Sir Ian Dangerous.
But by God!
Would somebody stop the damn match?
This show is part of the Orbital Jigsaw Network. For more episodes, subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher Radio. For details and show notes from each episode, check us out, orbitaljigsaw.com.
This is the limitless Keith Lee.
This is Brody King.
This is Angel Garza.
Will Ospreay.
Hornswoggle.
Pentagon Jr. The villain, Marty Skell.
The Mexican Rey Fenix.
King Ricochet.
Concrete Rose, Sunny Kiss.
And I'm here to ask you to stop what you're doing, take just one moment, and bask in the glory of the busted wide open.
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 Boston wide open.
Busted wide open podcast.
You're listening to the Busted Wide Open podcast, dropping the elbow on the hottest topics in sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling. With your hosts, Nick Howell and Sir Ian Dangerous. Coming to you from the Orbital Jigsaw Network Arena in sunny Southern California. Welcome everybody to BWO Live, coming to you from across the BWO universe, spanning Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. This is the Patron Mailbag episode number 78. My name is Nick Howell.
And I am Sir Ian Dangerous, and yes, we are here to answer your questions that you sent in to us over on patreon.com/BWO. If you haven't signed up yet, just head on over there, sign up for one of our lovely rewards tiers, and anyone you sign up for, you get to ask questions on this here show, and then we get to answer them. And it's a lot of fun for everyone involved. At least that's the idea. So, Nick, what do we have lined up for today?
Oh, lots of questions. But guys, if you'd like to sign up and send your questions in every week, yes, patreon.com/BWO. Head over to linktree.com/BWO as well to find all the links to all of our social medias, links to get into our Discord community, including tech, gaming, movies and TV, all kinds of other stuff over there. Besides wrestling, it's a really large, fun, engaged community. Come join us, have some fun, and have some live chats throughout shows for wrestling all throughout the week. But yes, kicking things off, as he is making an effort. I see you, Mop Man. I see you making the effort to get yours in at the top of the show to kick things off in a positive message.
Well, after our Raw show, that's
week.
probably a good idea.
You kind of went off last week on everybody a little bit.
He started positive.
Well,
He started positive.
Yeah, that's true. Good management training 101, always start with a positive, right? You lead with the positive.
That's what he did.
So Sean Clark goes, hello, gentlemen and phenomenal ones. Be good to each other. Live with that kindness in your heart, not because everyone deserves it, but because you deserve it. You deserve how it leaves your heart feeling. God, Mop Man, I love it. Thank you so much, Sean.
Love it.
Two-part question. Since we are now online with them, can we do more pick'ems? Maybe some more WWE or the AEW 4? I'm not opposed, but I don't know if I want to sign up for that. I'm not sure you know what you're asking me to do. It's one of those things. We said we were going to start with the big four. We would eventually expand. I don't know if we've gotten to the point where we're ready to do that yet.
You know what we might do is maybe if we did do that, we could have like non-championship matches, and I'd want to keep like minimal championship matches so our champions could be champions for a good amount of time. You know what I mean? And that's part of it. Like if we could have, it'd be nice if they had some ramifications to them. But as far as championships changing hands, I think that should be limited to 4 times a year. We're a small promotion still. We're not like WWE. We can run a pay-per-view every month. But doing more pick'ems, like even unofficial or like non-championship pick'ems, would be fun. It would be a lot of fun. It's just a matter of, as Nick said, working them up every time.
I'm not trying to be a data scientist every month. It's the amount of statistical analysis and data tracking and things like that happens throughout it to update all that stuff in real time. Like it's fine to do that for the big four, but it's a lot. I have ideas. It might take a while to get here, but I have ideas that might automate this whole process a little bit more, and I'm going to give you this teaser.
Oh, it's a phone.
What do you have on your phone?
Apps. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mysterious. There you go, Sean. Captain of Mystery over here, Nick Howell. has something up his sleeve. So stay tuned. Stay
Soon
tuned.
trademark. Yeah. Good question though. Second part, do you believe in ghosts or have any experience? If not there, how about just weird shit happening to you? Much love. Thank you, Sean.
Well, you take this one first.
I've never had any weird shit happen to me. I don't believe in ghosts because that would go against every other belief system that I have, including the fact that I don't believe that there are lizard people living in the middle of the earth, or Kong for that matter. Shit, spoiler alert.
That's too bad.
So I find it contradictory for me to be able to say that I have the certain belief systems that I do, but I also believe in ghosts. Like, that's hypocritical of me. What about you, Sir Ian Dangerous?
I'm in a very similar boat. I know many people who have had weird things happen to them. I've seen lots of, the shows where, ooh, we're in the haunted asylum and something spooky's going on. It just feels weird in here.
A lot of that is just, dude, bro, did you hear that? Oh my God.
Yeah. So where I stand on it is like, you look, everyone's experience is their own. If something weird happened to you, like, I'm not in your shoes. I don't know what you saw or what you felt or whatever. Like, cool. If you saw a ghost, you saw a ghost. Same thing with UFOs. You saw a UFO, okay, cool. I'm not jumping on that particular train until there is a little more concrete, like not just, a little more concrete evidence. Not just like I saw a fuzzy shape off in the distance.
The UFO thing I can get on board with.
But even the UFO thing, like,
it's plausible.
It's still all fuzzy. It's fuzzy pictures and lights. You know what I mean? The fact that's all that there is so far. Like, I'm not like, could it be? Yes. I'm agnostic about it. You know what I mean? Could it be? Sure. Yeah. I've got
a career.
I'm not going to, I'll put it this way. I'm not going to say there are no such thing as ghosts, but I also do not believe in ghosts.
Same.
Nor do I, or supernatural phenomenon. And part of that comes from the fact that I've never seen recorded anything of where it's all the cell phones in the damn world, we can record everything these days, and there's still no video footage that you can see anything. Yeah, when you get a good shot of Bigfoot, I'll believe in Bigfoot. Until then, could he exist? Yeah, maybe, but likely no. And also, the other thing that really at the end of it is I'm not scared of ghosts, because here's the thing. If there is some sort of ectoplasmic entity living in my apartment, wandering around and seeing me, do whatever I do in my apartment, you know what? Have fun, dude. You're not bothering me.
Knock yourself out.
He's not picking up DVDs off my shelf and floating them across the room. And even if he were, it would be pretty weird. I might get a little weirded out by it, but at the same time, you see, I've watched so many damn horror movies where the ghosts are like tossing people out windows, and there's the pit, the pool with the pit of skeletons in it out back or whatever, the killer clown. Thinking of Poltergeist in particular. Well, all these movies and the ghosts are so aggressive and everything. And I'm like, when has there been a recorded incident of a ghost being aggressive to somebody where it's like it's recorded by scientists, and scientists are like, yeah, we genuinely have no idea how this happened. Not like pseudoscientists, not religious people. I mean, scientists. So consider me a skeptic, and a skeptic who is, if something ghostly happens, I go, okay, cool. Yeah. My door just slammed on its own. I'm going to assume it was the wind. And until this ghost decides to actually like physically assault me, we're good. You know what? My odds are pretty good. The ghost isn't going to physically assault me just based on experience. Yeah. So anecdotal experience, but it's experience nonetheless.
The only other thing to the UFO and aliens context of this question, I will say that it's pretty damn convincing when you listen to a 30-year Air Force fighter pilot tell you a story about a craft that he witnessed in flight, 35,000 feet up in the air, stop, move, make moves like this, and then and accelerated at speeds that we don't know are physically possible within the laws of physics. And that's, he's on Joe Rogan if you want to go listen to it, telling that story. He's written a book about it.
What a shock he's on Joe Rogan.
Listen, okay. That aside, would you have been happier if I said he showed up on Rush Limbaugh? It would. You know what?
No, no, that wouldn't have changed my opinion at all.
Point. I will take the word of someone who's flew fighter jets for 30 years over some online Redditor who thought they saw a funny light in the sky.
What if the guy who flew planes for years was the guy on Reddit? You know, that he can be a Redditor too. Nothing's saying he can't be.
They wouldn't let him in a fighter jet if they thought he was batshit.
What I'm saying is that just because someone, anecdotal evidence like that doesn't convince me. Someone saying, I saw a fully formed spirit walk through my front door and walk through my house, and I'm completely credible in every other form of life, it doesn't make me automatically go, well, then you 100% saw that. You know what? If my 30-year Air Force guy saw that, then he saw that. You know what? Cool. More power to him. It doesn't change my mind at all about UFOs or aliens. It does not budge me at all.
Okay.
That doesn't do it. I got to see with my own eyes. And that's the bottom line.
It's naive to think that there is no other place in the vastness of the universe like Earth that could support life. As vast as it is.
Certainly.
Do I think there are people like wormholing beings, excuse me. Do I think that there are beings wormholing their way to our galaxy and just passing by, doing drive-bys through our atmosphere randomly? No.
I've read Carl Sagan too, dude. Like, is it likely something else in the universe is alive? Yes. Is it intelligent? Is it capable of space flight? Is it capable of travel at the distances that are required to find us? Is it capable of finding us? And if it finds us, does it care? All of these are factors that are part of that question. So if you want to go down the UFO rabbit hole and the alien life rabbit hole, we could be here for a minute. I don't know if that's what Sean Clark intended.
He asked about
we could
ghosts,
absolutely talk about
UFOs.
that for a long time. He asked about ghosts, not UFOs.
I absolutely do not
I
believe in ghosts. Have never had an
point on that.
experience. I would, if I had an experience, it wowould probably be one of those, cool. Now, with all of that said, I do get geeked out on the found footage things. Like they get me, and I don't know why. I can't explain why. Is it something that's built into our human nature that the paranormal is just weird? You know, I watch movies like Conjuring or Drag Me to Hell or something like that, and you think, oh, okay. I mean, could that shit be feasibly possible? I mean, yeah. We're wrestling fans, for God's sakes. Anything's possible.
Yeah, we want to believe it because it's more entertaining than regular life, which is frankly fairly boring.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the problem. And you know, and if you really actually research Ed and Lorraine Warren, if you're bringing up The Conjuring, they're complete con artists, and all the shit that they're talking about is complete bullshit, and they're out taking people's money. And so if you watch The Conjuring and think that that's how ghosts really are, then obviously it's completely made up fiction. But anyway. Rabbit hole.
Kyle threw in 100 bits and said, talking about the pick'ems, in BWO, the champs only defend on the Brock Lesnar schedule. That's a good way to put it. Yep. Thank you, Mop Man. Thank you, Mr. Sean Clark.
Brock Lesnar's each and every one.
Thank you, Kyle, for the bits. Next up, Brian Lake says, to our two phenomenal patriarchs, with the next month or so looking like pay-per-view rematches galore, what feuds would you both like to see leading to SummerSlam? All titles and possibly a new grudge feud or two. Thanks for everything. Thank you, Brian.
Ooh. Let's see. All titles. All right. So WWE Championship currently held by Bobby Lashley.
Drew's going to take it off Lashley at SummerSlam.
You want to see a build to Drew Lashley at
I think
SummerSlam.
Drew's going to take it off. I'll call it now. Drew's going to take it off Lashley at SummerSlam. If he does it at Backlash, that's just stupid.
I think that's the right decision, but at the same, so what if Drew does take it off of him at Backlash? Then who feuds with Drew going to SummerSlam? Which, when you said it makes no sense to have Braun in that match, doesn't it now when you think about that?
Don't open that can of worms again.
Too late. That can of worms is open and reeling. Well, of course, Braun Strowman's going to be pissed. He's like,
neither of us want that title to come off of Bobby Lashley at Backlash for reasons we've stated multiple times, because it just completely undoes everything that WWE has done to build Lashley. If you just snatch it back off of him. He didn't get it in an honorable way in the first place, and if you take it right off of him, it completely undoes the fact that he did beat him and retained it at WrestleMania.
Yep. All it shows us is they knew that they would get backlash, pardon the pun, if they took it off in at WrestleMania, and they think that by doing it later, they won't get as much heat from people by saying that you never gave Lashley a real chance.
Yeah, later, like SummerSlam, like August, right?
That's what I'm saying. Then we'll be like, cool. You gave Lashley a chance.
I'm good with that. And then we can have a program where Lashley's pissed and hurt business, and we're back. We're good.
Keep it in your pants. Keep it in your pants, WWE. What about let's see, U.S. title? Sheamus right now is the champ.
Keith Lee. If I'm fantasy booking, Keith Lee. I want Keith Lee, Sheamus at SummerSlam for the title.
Yeah, Sheamus does the open challenge. He gets challenged by Keith Lee after he does it all the way through to Backlash. Avoids having a match at Backlash. There was backlash on him at Raw. Adam Pearce saying, "You've got to defend it." And he says, fine, send me whoever you got. Keith Lee comes out.
We got about 4 months to SummerSlam. That's not that far.
No. That's like 3 pay-per-views.
And we're going to have gimmick stuff like WrestleMania Backlash. And then we're going to have Money in the Bank. And then maybe a Extreme Rules in there somewhere.
What about, this is a tough one, Intercontinental Championship. Currently Apollo Crews with Commander Aziz. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. Who do you think feuds with him over on SmackDown?
I got nothing.
Who would be the best feud?
My gut said Seth Rollins, but that doesn't make any sense.
He's a heel. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. My gut, I mean, I'll tell you who I'd like to see.
It's not out of the realm of possibility we figure out a way to flip Seth face by the time we get to SummerSlam.
It is. He's pretty hated right now. He's pretty damn
bring Becky
heel.
Lynch back and put him alongside him. That's going to be hard to maintain.
I would say, we were on a pretty good roll of getting Nakamura some momentum.
I'm surprised he's still with the company after this last week.
Well, but I'm saying, like, you give Nakamura a little bit of a fighting babyface thing going on there. Give him to fight off the heater in Aziz. I wouldn't mind seeing Nakamura fighting for it.
Yeah. I mean, could you see Kevin Owens?
What? Who else you got? Not really, because unless you have Kevin Owens take it off of him, don't send Kevin Owens into a big feud unless he's going to win it. After the feud he just had with Roman Reigns, you've got to have, that's why he's in the feud.
And Seth before Ray,
Yeah, exactly. Like, you've got to have him win.
He's coming off of 2 beatdown runs, basically.
Yeah. Two ones where he didn't, two feuds he didn't win. So I think, keep Kevin Owens off of that.
That's good, Kyle. Cesaro's not a bad option for Intercontinental.
Cesaro was on my mind, but I like him feuding with Seth. And again, Cesaro's in the same situation as Nakamura. You can't send him against Apollo unless he's going to win. And I want Apollo to keep this.
Let's see how that gimmick's going over the next 4 months.
Yeah. So I'm going to stick with Nakamura for my answer.
Yeah, I'll roll with you on that one. There's not much else, unfortunately.
Even Daniel Bryan. Oh, well, Daniel Bryan could lose to him. Daniel Bryan could put him over.
Edge could go back and go for the Intercontinental.
Yeah.
Have we decided where Edge is going to be?
Keep Edge away from that gimmick.
Well, sure, but that's a great side point. Part of the fall coming out of Royal Rumble, he got to pick, so he showed up on SmackDown. Is he going to stay on SmackDown?
Maybe. I don't see why not. I think he's still involved in the top feud. We will know this Friday.
That's true.
Well, speaking of which, what about Roman Reigns? What feud does he have leading to SummerSlam?
I actually thought Cesaro would be a good one.
I think he needs to be built up by Seth. I think the idea might be they want to have Cesaro Roman at SummerSlam, but they have to build up Cesaro to be a bigger deal, or see if he can be a bigger deal with Seth.
I also don't think it's a bad idea to send Seth up against him, even though he's heel. Messiah versus Godfather.
I got your answer. Biggie.
That's really good.
But yeah,
that's really good because he can lose and he'll be fine. Yep.
All the same kind of shenanigans that Roman always pulls.
Make him fight Jay a bunch of times. He'll destroy Jay, just like Daniel Bryan beat Jay a couple of, it works.
Yeah, exactly. Women's titles. Women's Raw title. Right now, Rhea Ripley.
I want Rhea Charlotte 2.0 at SummerSlam for the title.
What about a SmackDown? What about Bianca Belair? Who is there for her over there?
I'm struggling with that one. Women's division's in shambles right now.
Horrible job of building the women's division over there. I don't know who you send against her at this point. Bayley seems to be like they're looking at Bayley, but we had Bayley before WrestleMania, and
it just can't be as Bayley Jesse really Raphael doing the ding dong show. That's just girl.
Yeah. Break up Nia and Shayna. Send Shayna against somebody. Build up Shayna. That's all I ask.
Shayna would be fantastic.
That's all I ask. Shayna versus Bianca. There you go.
I'll take.
And you know what you're going to get? Nia versus Bianca.
Probably.
That's what you'll get. Speaking of the tag titles, do we even need to answer the women's tag titles?
I'm still burning hot over the Iconics.
We'll let that one go. What about Raw tag team titles?
Especially after Peyton Royce came out and gave that amazing promo on the talk show.
I'm still convinced that's what got her fired. That and her mom tweeting out that Charlotte needs to give up her place. That Charlotte's always taken her place. Peyton's mom tweeted that like Charlotte gets all these opportunities and her daughter doesn't. Yeah. Total speculation. I just want to clarify. No real info on that. Raw tag titles. Right now, AJ and Amos. Who has a feud with them? Okay, I'll go. Viking Raiders.
Sure. Good to see them back last night.
Yep. Sure. Viking Raiders. SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Right now held by the Dirty Dogs.
Somebody needs to get them off of them ASAP. I don't know that they go into SummerSlam as the champions.
Right now, based on the stories they've been telling in the tag division over there, and I say stories in quotation marks, I think the logical choice would be to have the Mysterios take it off the Dirty Dogs and then have
feud with Alpha Academy.
Alpha Academy feud with Rey Mysterio because they've had an ongoing issue going back and forth between the Mysterios and the Alpha Academy. You continue with a feud with Dirty Dogs and Street Profits. Street Profits ultimately beat Dirty Dogs to get a number one contendership for whoever comes out of the Rey Mysterio and his son or his stepson or his adopted son. Their feud with Alpha Academy. Whoever wins, they face the Street Profits.
Yeah, that's a good one.
SummerSlam. So maybe the Mysterios fend them off for a while, and the Alpha Academy gets it and holds it for a short period of time, only to have the Street Profits come in and sweep it.
I like that.
So there you go,
There's
buddy.
All of them. We did the U.S. title. Oh, we did Keith Lee and Sheamus. That's right.
Yep.
There you go, Brian.
Thank you very much.
Lots of votes in chat. Thank you for guys for sending those in. Bianca versus Mia Yim's interesting, but I just don't. They haven't done anything to build her. It wouldn't be big enough for SummerSlam.
Yeah, they'd have to rocket strap Mia Yim to make that anything, especially for SummerSlam, where it's going to be their second biggest pay-per-view. It has to be someone big.
Next up, Uncle Greg says, "Been a while since I've done one of these, but I've got some food for thought. In a year where WWE has had more control than ever, I think they really showed their hand. With the releases of all that talent again, for whatever reasons may be, I'd hate to say it's for lack of getting over. They have controlled."
I'm going to jump. Hold on. I'm going to jump in because he makes a really good point here. The company line that we always hear is, you grab the brass ring. All you need is 3 minutes of TV time. Get yourself over, and be yourself and be entertaining, and you'll be fine. We'll find something for you. Literally what Billy Kay did. Samoa Joe, we've heard all the stuff about potentially concussion protocol. He wants to wrestle. There's other things going on there. Billy Kay is the inexcusable one. And arguably to a less extent Peyton Royce, but Billy was on TV every week. She was getting over with the fans. She was making everybody laugh. She was making people backstage laugh. She was making other talent laugh. She was doing good work in ring when they let her. There was no that was the definition of hypocrisy when it comes to WWE's position on their creative and their talent being there and getting over through their hard work and through their dedication to going out and being entertaining when they're given the opportunity to do so. So yeah, this one to throw that in there with Uncle what Greg's saying here.
They have controlled every cheer and every boo this year. This was the year to build and rebuild talent. During the Rumble, they chose the volume of the pops. As talent, I would take it away coming out to damn near silence when you have the power to pipe cheers in. Really showed the employees what they thought of them. Hell, if they're gauging online interactions to see if they're over with the IWC, how do we justify the release of the Iconics or Joe? Guess we'll find out in 90 days. I know this is kind of just the result of them buying up all the major indie talent from years back, steadily trimming what they deem as fat. Your thoughts?
It's funny because a lot of the talent they released, I wouldn't call indie talent. You know, some of them were homegrown stuff. Yeah, so it was very
Peyton
strange.
Royce just a few short years ago was one of the top contenders fighting for Asuka's NXT Women's Championship on her when she was on her streak. You're telling me you can't find
really
something
compare
for Peyton Royce to do, and she got a new finisher. She looked awesome. She was great on the mic when she got the rare chance to say anything.
Look at the people they released: Billie Kay, Peyton Royce. We talked about them. Chelsea Green's the only one who really counts as indie talent, right? She did a lot of indie stuff. Tucker in-house. Kalisto, you could argue he did stuff in Mexico, but still I wouldn't call him like indie talent in the way I think he's referring to here. Kalisto is definitely a guy who's been in WWE for a long time. Mojo Rawley in-house. Bo Dallas in-house. Wesley Blake in-house. Mickey James, legend, in-house. You know, so yeah, I wouldn't say it's the indie talent. Maybe they're keeping the indie talent and they're trimming their in-house people, but then what does that say about their performance center and how they train up their own people? So
if I were someone in the PC, I'd be rethinking things.
Not just the PC, just in the company in general. But again, this is not like this is new, and there was not that many people this year. They've cut way more last year. In the middle of a freaking pandemic when you can't go out and make money on the indies. You better hope that AEW is going to throw you some dosh because they were hiring everybody. They were like, come on in. We'll give you a paycheck. We'll give you a payday. Come on in for some tapings. So it's it is, and it is I think what Greg's touching on here is kind of the cycle, right? The closed cycle of you have of politicking in WWE. You have a perception backstage. That perception is then how the company treats you in terms of its creative. It's how it treats you in terms of what they tell the commentary to say about you, your packages, how you're sold, how much, as he says, when they're in control of the horizontal and the vertical on the show, including all the cheers and boos, you know, and if they choose to only pipe in certain number of cheers or boos, they can control how much it sounds like the audience gives a crap about you. It says a lot. And it's funny because it makes me think of Natalya getting mad at being a 1 point, right? On that, we talked about the other day, there was this game put together by, I think it was Fox. And
streamers do this. They'll build these for fast food restaurants and shit like that.
You have 15 points, and here's 15 people, and there's this tier, and it's 5 points to pick one of these, and 4 points for these, right? Natalya was a 1, and she was hurt about this. She was like, I can't believe that I'm a 1, and it makes you wonder if the talent are aware of what their perception is, or what the company is making them seem to be to outsiders. When I look at the levels of the women's roster, I don't think of Natalya as someone who's going to be challenging for the championship tomorrow, because that's how they've built her. They've built her as a low mid-carder. That's what they portray her as.
Interesting point. I wonder if she shows up, and puts her costume on, puts her gear on, goes to makeup, does all the stuff that she normally would do and that all of the other women do, and goes out to the ring thinking that tonight's the night.
And you wonder if there's a bit of indoctrination there and a bit of brainwashing, or even, something inside her. I mean, I understand you have to have a certain level of confidence to do what she does. And her personal belief is that she is one of the greatest workers there. And she's an extremely good worker and a very talented person. But at the same time, her not realizing that her character is not exactly high on the totem pole of women in the company. And maybe that's why that she has been working so hard to change that, and being in the team with Tamina and saying we're going to go out there and win matches and pulling more politics backstage, if that's what's going on, is a result of her kind of waking up and being like, crap, am I not perceived that well? Is the company not selling me that well? It makes you wonder, like, what kind of cycle is going on backstage, because you see people in WWE that are such like diehard WWE lovers, like Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman, who have totally drunk the Kool-Aid. And, it typically is guys who are higher up in the card. and they never have to worry about this sort of thing. The company's going to back them up and is presenting them in a way that is conducive to them for the most part. Obviously, we could argue about Braun, but they're still, putting him in a big place on the shows.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, this is a very interesting thought here, Greg. But it's definitely something we've talked about before with WWE in terms of how it treats its wrestlers, its superstars as commodities. Yeah. And it's not there trying to get everybody over, make everybody look cool, which I would argue, the most successful that wrestling is, the most successful companies, the most successful examples of eras in wrestling is when you have a company where even the people that lose the matches are interesting and you care about them. Even the jobbers. Like, I want interesting jobbers. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't want to, if you want to have your star get over on a jobber and be enhancement and you're just there to sell. I like when you have an Alan Angels versus a Cody, right? Cody squashes Alan Angels, but it makes Alan Angels look really cool. And you're like, yeah, Cody's a badass. But that Alan Angels kid, he's pretty interesting.
Got some offense
right?
on him. He looks good. Yeah.
And everyone's like, why did he get some offense on him? Because you want to have your jobbers be somewhat interesting. It makes for a healthier company top to bottom. It means no matter what you do, people will be invested in everything that you put on TV.
I look at who they cut. I mean, between Joe, Bo Dallas, Peyton Royce, I'm sitting there just going, there is some extreme talent that just entered the market. That's some really good prospects. Bo Dallas, I don't think gets enough credit for how good he is.
Oh, absolutely. I just totally
completely squandered that kid. Mm-hmm. Kyle threw in 100 bits, said, I think if we have fans, a lot of these releases don't happen. Because right now the company that dismissed Rusev Day chants, not having fans saying this is what we want, they only really have their bias get confirmed in their environment. Yeah, it's echo chamber. Honestly, there's a fracture in that company between the old guard and Steph and Triple H's people in terms of philosophy. Before the releases, Mania Week was all about the PC successes. Change needs to happen internally.
True, and I think I want to clarify what Kyle said. I'm just reading this off over here. He says a lot of these releases don't happen. I think Rusev still happens. He was obviously unhappy. He was just kind of biding his time. I think Bo Dallas has been in catering forever. No one was really going to give him a chance. Chelsea Green, they thought she was injury prone. She never really got a chance to get over. She has a really interesting interview with Sean Ross Sapp, where she talks about the fact she was sitting outside Vince's office 5 days a week for 4 hours a day trying to get a meeting.
Chelsea.
It's Chelsea.
Wow.
So that's not necessarily true. You're assuming these people are able to go out and, get in front of fans and make fans care about them. And in the case of Bo Dallas, when you had, when he was out there with Michael McGillicuddy, the B team, right? They were getting over. They just refused to keep that momentum going. They refused to keep that. They're like, okay, the meme is over. And backstage got more sick of the meme faster than the audience did. Same with Heat's I Got Kids, right? As soon as the crowd even started dying down, the back was just like, forget it, it's done, kill it.
Yep.
So, they had to be out there to get over.
It lasted longer than Retribution. It lasted longer than Raw Underground.
Yeah, well, Retribution would have been crapped on live. They would have. Oh my God! Can you imagine some of the stuff live?
Actually, yes.
With a live crowd.
I think it would have gone over well. Actually,
Retribution would have been
live crowd with 20,000 people, and you come out with chainsaws and you start cutting the ring up.
Yes, the early midget version of Retribution.
Yeah. Thank you, Kyle. No, wait. Oh, I did read it all. Thank you, Kyle. And thank you, Uncle Greg. Next up, Jay Reyes said, you said a few days ago which concerts you've ever been to have been the wildest times, and even a pit or two. Well, do I have a doozy for you? A buddy of mine who was and still maybe a huge juggalo took me to a gathering of the Juggalos once.
Yeah.
I didn't know who Insane Clown Posse were outside of a few songs I had heard over the years, and I liked. They aren't my first choice of music to go to, but I said I will go to this festival for 3 days in the woods with you. This year, apparently they had Gwar as one of the headline acts, and as much of a metal fan as I am, I didn't know that much about Gwar either. But by the end of this wild-ass festival filled with the sea of 14,000 campers in clown paint, metal and hip-hop acts, and pro wrestling, yes, ICP has their own company, it was fun. ICP flinging Faygo soda everywhere is a sight to behold. Guar with their whole stage presence, which I have seen, an act was mind-blowing. Giant alien penis kaiju is only just one of the craziest things I can remember. If I tried to remember everything, it would make the list too long. I got caught in the pit, and I have been in a few, not by my own choice. They just have happened, and I found myself caught in them. It's just that point in my life, it seemed to be the most memorable. Oh, and also, not related to the other thing, but I wanted to ask. There's no wrong answer. I'm a fan of all the following bands, but wanted to ask. Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Stone Temple Pilots, or Nirvana. Which do you personally like better and why?
Well, first of all, congratulations on surviving the gathering of the Juggalos.
Yes. That is a badge you can wear on your sleeve proudly.
Has your nose recovered? Because you've got 14,000 people that aren't really good at hygiene to begin with, trapped out in the woods for 3 days, getting sprayed with sticky soda, and sweating. Yes. It is a recipe.
Wait,
for
are we
destruction.
talking about that or Coachella?
This is worse than Coachella. Yeah, I've been to Coachella, and Coachella is it's awful. I would never go again. All right, so those four bands. Let's rank them. Let's rank these bands.
Oh God, you're gonna make me pick between my grunge kids?
Rank them. Your grunge kids. Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Stone Temple Pilots, Nirvana. First, second, third, fourth.
That's exactly how I rank them.
Really? Alice in Chains top, Soundgarden, Stone Temple Pilots, and then Nirvana's at the bottom?
I'm not a big Nirvana. I mean, I like Nirvana. Yeah, I jammed to a couple of the songs. It wasn't my thing.
Totally.
And it's I get why people love them. I get the loving of the lyrics and the songwriting and all of that stuff. I don't know. It didn't strike a nerve with me. And
sure.
I admit that I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what the fascination is with Cobain and Nirvana. Grohl's an amazing drummer. Inspired me to one of the inspirations for me to start playing, frankly. Back in the day. Back when I flung the sticks around a little bit.
For me, number 4, Stone Temple Pilots. Good, but on this list, they're on number 4. Number 3, number 2, number 3 were tough. But I'm gonna have to just, in terms of like overall in my life, who do I listen to more? Who do I have more records of? Number 3, Nirvana. And I love Nirvana. But number 2, Alice in Chains. I listen to Alice in Chains still all the time to this day. I listen to Nirvana too, but I put on Alice in Chains regularly. And number 1, Soundgarden. Chris Cornell is like one of my top artists of all time. Soundgarden is one of my favorite bands of all time, if not my favorite band of all time. Soundgarden, absolutely far and away number 1 on this list.
In the moment, in the time, I listen to Stone Temple Pilots the most, probably.
Really?
In college and
which album?
Core, their first album.
Huh. Okay.
When they debuted, it was 92 or whatever that was.
It's
I was
so
in high
funny
school
because
and the sex type thing video hit and it exploded, and then they had Plush and a whole bunch of hits out. Yeah. And I really connected with that style of music. And then I discovered Lane Staley and Jerry Cantrell's songwriting. And it was oh God. That album Dirt and I would argue Jar of Flies, and then we got the unplugged performance from Alice in Chains shortly before Lane's demise. And by all accounts, he was loaded. Absolutely loaded, and he put on one of the most memorable performances in music history. And I will always go back and quote that or point people to that Alice in Chains unplugged performance. Yep. It is amazing. Absolutely some of the best music I've ever heard in my life. Still to this day. And I usually, when I play Spotify, I go to my liked songs and just play that throughout the day while I'm on me. I live in headphones all day, every day. And when I'm not in a meeting or not in something, there's Spotify's playing. And Alice in Chains, there's probably, I think, 5 or 6 songs that are in that like playlist, global playlist thing. I don't know.
I'll throw this out there, Jay. If you're a fan of those bands, you probably know these guys, but Mad Season. Check out Mad Season. Definitely worth a look. Also, you got Mark Lanigan in Mad Season. And Mark Lanigan's one of those unsung singer guys from that era that's just so good. Screaming Trees and his solo stuff.
Trees. Coverdale Page was really good during that time. I remember that.
Let's not go down the grunge rabbit hole. Let's move on. But
it wasn't really grunge. But I remember
we'll be here all
can't
day.
talk about the '90s without snot. Late '90s.
I'm seeing the rim of the rabbit hole, and I'm like, no, you're not dragging me in. Mad Season, I'm leaving it there.
In there too.
Stop it.
I'm gonna shove us off the cliff.
Stop it.
Costanza said they made Jar of Flies in 2 weeks. What? That album is an underappreciated masterpiece.
It's so good.
That album is so good.
If you can get the double album of that and Sap, do it.
Oh, thank you so much, Jay. I love hearing your music stories,
Great
man.
Stuff.
Next up, Martin Welch, our 2-time booby champ, who I worked on. On his prize on Sunday a little bit. Yeah. That hopefully I'll have that done for you by the end of the week. But I'm hand making it for what it's worth.
Oh.
He says, firstly, hello, gentle pod gents and phenomenal ladies, gents, and all others. I hope you're all great. If you're not great, I hope that you're as good as you can be. My question is, I don't want to see anyone lose their jobs, but if you could release one star from WWE, who would it be? And not so you could see them somewhere else. That's tricky.
Okay.
Also, I haven't seen Raw yet, so I don't know if this has happened. I doubt it did. What if T-Bar, Mason, Slapjack come out and cut a promo saying they aren't with Hurt Business, but they are going to be mercenaries, and if you can afford them, then they will work for you?
So basically the APA. They're basically the APA.
Modern APA.
Split off from a faction, and then now there's badasses that will work for the right price.
That was supposed to be the original concept of Hurt Business.
Right. Work for money.
Roughhousing Raw Underground and stuff like that,
Right. Ah, man, they were good. I'd take the masks off of them, put them back there, just put them in a room, smoking, drinking, and playing cards. And it's like, people just roll in and be like, I need you to take someone out for me. And they're like, you bring the checkbook.
How much cash you got on you?
Yeah. We don't work for free, buddy. I'd be absolutely
would love that. All right, so we have to cut one person, one star, and not because we want to see them go somewhere else.
Shane McMahon. What? I was told to pick a star.
Not one of the McMahons.
Oh, well, that wasn't qualified.
They're not going anywhere. They're about to inherit a company in the next 10 years. Maybe.
Well, damn it.
I'm convinced at this point Vince is going to outlive me. So I
who do I cut that I don't want to see anywhere else? I mean, I know who you're going to pick.
Oh, yeah. Nia Jax.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I knew you were going to.
Get her the out of here. She is single-handedly undermining the entire women's division, guys. And I don't know why. I don't understand why. I don't understand what the value is here. She's The Rock's cousin. Really?
I'm trying to think if there's anyone else. I think trying to think if there's anybody else I'd want gone more. And I don't come up with Shane McMahon. I have some ironic love for Shane too. But oh man. Cause I'm with Martin though. Like I don't want to wish anybody be out of a job. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like a who do you hate most in WWE right now. And there's not really a performer that I'm like, I want them gone. That I can think of off the top of my head. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would probably weep the least for Nia. but or Lana. I'm kind of done with Lana.
Yeah. Bless her heart.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, yeah, no, I wouldn't wish Robert Roode or Ziggler gone. They're low on the totem pole, but you know,
They're the tag team champions.
they're good, but they're
low
good
on
workers.
the totem pole.
I mean, low on my
Oh,
totem
gotcha,
pole. People I
okay.
want to see on TV. We're talking about me here,
I
Nick.
cannot stop thinking
Not
about
talking
Jar
about
of
them.
Flies, and it's just playing in my head, and all I want to do is go listen to Jar of Flies. It is such a good album, guys. Seriously.
Yeah, I got Rain When I Die stuck in my head now
man,
too. So.
that's from Dirt.
I don't care. It's an Alice in
still
Chains
good.
song.
Oh, God, those albums, Jesus. Yeah, Nia easily. That was easy for me, Martin.
I'll stick with Shane.
He says, as always, I wish you all love, peace, and fried poultry. 2-time Booby EST champ out.
Now
Thank
I'm
you,
hungry. Yeah, Booby EST though. He's got the braid for it.
Indeed.
Also handmade.
From your own pubic hair.
Moving on. Who do we have next? Jesus.
Yardy says, Gouda Von Dames in Hedden. I hope everybody is having a great evening day. If you could turn a poster, movie, video game, wrestling, etc., in a big jigsaw puzzle, which one would you choose? As always, thank you for being amazing. That's a good question.
Wow. Video game or wrestling, etc. Oh.
I used to think that the Star Wars movie poster was the best. And then I saw the Avengers movie posters.
Same
if
idea.
I had to pick between the two of them, Endgame. Infinity War's got the better spread, but Endgame has all the color, the purple and blue and all of that stuff in it.
Yeah.
I dig that.
Yeah.
But the Avengers posters for me, probably Endgame.
This is brutal. There is a which one was that? Was that it was Survivor Series with WrestleMania? I think it was WrestleMania 11 or 12. It's the one where all the guys are walking out towards. I'll find it right now. So I can see it in my head, but I cannot remember which WrestleMania it's from. Hopefully you'll find it quickly here.
Jay over on YouTube while you're thinking. What's up, man? Shout out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got to hear your question or not, but we did rank them. Rewind a little bit. You'll find it. You'll hear it. But yeah, since...
Are we, you can rewind on us? We're not like Peacock?
I think you can do the DVR stuff. You might have to wait till we're done. I'm not sure if you can go... I think you can actually go back. I'm not sure. I've never tried it. VOD will be up afterwards. Rewind and watch there.
This is shameful. It's not popping up right away.
Which one are you looking for?
It should be a
WrestleMania
classic.
12?
It should be a classic poster. Something like that. It's right around there. It's maybe it was a Survivor Series one. I can see it in my head. It's basically a bunch of the stars, like Big Boss Man's on there. They're all walking towards. It's full body. They're all walking towards you.
So WrestleMania 12 was Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Undertaker, Kevin Nash.
That wasn't it. Maybe it was 11. I don't know. I'll find it posted in the group. But it's a great poster. A lot of the classic guys on the front. Walking towards. I gotta find it. I can see it in my head. That'd make a great one just because you have all the guys on there, all the stars, and just kind of finding them all. And it's because one of the things with posters when you make them into puzzles, there's so much like room around the outside edge. Like I'm thinking, I was thinking like, oh, Halloween 3 would be good. I'm like, no, because there's like 4 inches of black on every side. Finding one that's got interesting stuff to the edge is the tough one. There's actually a really cool poster online that you can actually buy, and the guy keeps adding to it, and it's like cartoons of every wrestler who's ever been in WWE. So there's just hundreds of people in this, like doing all these different things. You can find it on, I'll try and find that online too. But it's awesome. That would be a great poster to make into a puzzle, because every time you're putting on a piece, you're like, holy crap, there's King Kong Bundy. Holy crap, there's the Iron Sheik. Holy crap, there's Mankind. Holy crap, whatever. There's the Spirit Squad, right? Whatever. So that'd be really
Too cool.
But I don't know if that. Yeah, too cool. I don't know if that counts. What Yardy's saying here. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Thanks very much, Yardy. Next up, good Brad Shepard. Oh, Sheppy.
Yeah.
Says, good evening, phenomenal hosts and BW fam. I'm going to date myself here, but being a child of the late 70s, early 80s, I have a fondness for hair bands and glam bands. I love me some hard rock, metal, alternative music, but I do have eclectic tastes, and nothing hits home like a good, solid 80s hair band ballad. Oh, buddy.
Yes.
My favorites are Firehouse, Trickster, man. Slaughter, Faster Pussycat, Motley Crue.
Slaughter.
Don't know what you got till it's gone.
Oh, no. Oh, that was going to be stuck in my head now.
Motley Crue, and of course, Poison. You can't not put Poison in that list. Who are your favorite 80s hair bands?
Skid Row. I got to throw Skid Row in there.
Slave to the Grind, another amazing, underappreciated
Slave to the
album.
Grind. What an amazing album that is.
18 to Life, Monkey Business, Slave to the Grind.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. What is it? The Threat. That's a great song, too.
I don't remember that one off the top of my head.
Let's see who else was there. There was Cinderella. There was Rat, Round and Round, but they actually had, but Rat had a bunch of other good ones. Whitesnake. If you're a heterosexual male of our age, you remember Tawny Katane.
On the hood of that car.
On the hood of the Jaguar. Yes. And that was a coming of age moment for people of my generation. To Whitesnake. Wow. Oh, okay. I've got my great unsung one, and then we can move on.
I know mine too.
Okay, you go for yours first then. Warrant.
Cherry Pie, Uncle Tom's Cabin. Uncle Tom's Cabin might be one of the best 80s songs ever composed. It is fan-freaking-tastic.
White Lion.
Oh, buddy.
White Lion is freaking amazing. There's just the one album, Pride. That album is so massively underrated. Great guitar work, awesome vocals. The lyrics are really cool.
What's the album name?
That to me is Pride.
I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna
long
day, folks. Yeah. Woo. I'm gonna write that one down because I'll listen to it later while I'm playing some stuff. I don't remember anything about it.
Children of the Valley. Lady of the Valley. When the Children Cry. Wait is such an awesome, it's almost a ballad, but it's also just a badass rockin' song. Yeah, White Lion is absolutely my answer to this question. There you go.
When the Children Cry. When the Children Cry.
See, you remember
that
it.
Song, yeah.
You remember it.
Yeah.
Yes. Let them know we tried. It's just, it's so good, bad.
Oh, man. Thank you. So, because that was the first.
Actually, check Lady of the Valley is probably the best. That's probably the most badass song on that album.
So speaking of music, I have some homework for you guys. You have until next Tuesday's. Okay. Oh, we're getting okay. I got to take notes here if we're getting homework.
Oh, okay, we got homework.
You have until next Tuesday's mailbag episode, but take the following Fantasy WrestleMania card and give us the music you would use for the video package leading up to the match, and then give us your winners of each match with match highlights.
Ooh.
Take all the wrestlers at their prime. First.
He's being really nice at giving us homework. Usually we get these thrown at us. We just have to
Yeah, that's
go
true.
for it.
I like that I can come back to this next week. We're probably gonna forget, if I'm being completely honest.
We're not. I'm not gonna forget. This sounds fun. All right. So what are some of the matches?
I'm gonna just write down Sheppy homework and I'll come back and So we'll run down the match card as a preview.
Yes, of next week. Next week's Brad Shepard
next week on the Patron Mailbag. Tune in while Nick and Sir Ian Dangerous pick the music for the video packages to set up the matches for Michael Cole versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Really? Michael Cole and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat?
Okay.
What? Wait, how? Was Michael Cole ever in his prime?
Frosted Tips getting berated by The Rock, maybe?
I already know the music I want to have for the video package for this. Judas Priest, you got another thing coming.
Right. Come on, we're not doing it now. We got to do it later. We got to do it. We'll report back next week.
Got it.
Don't do it now.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, that was the stipulation. This is a stipulation match.
Okay.
Sheppy homework. Hang on. Okay. Also, Arn Anderson versus Samoa Joe in a Kansas City street fight.
Ooh.
I want to see that
in their
match.
primes? Yes, with Pantera's Walk playing in the video package.
There you go. Eddie Guerrero versus Santos Escobar for King of the Luchas.
Kickstart My Heart, Motley Crue.
Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Edge versus Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship.
Ooh. Snap Your Fingers, Snap Your Neck, covered by Demon Hunter, originally by Prong.
Wow. Damn, okay. Dusty Rhodes versus Keith Lee.
Ooh. Fight the Power by the Isley Brothers.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, buddy.
The high flying, wheeling dealing Nature Boy Ric Flair versus Randy Orton for the United States Championship. So what do we consider prime era Randy Orton? Now? 14-time champion Randy Orton?
I mean,
Evolution
it's
Randy
either
Orton
now,
in 2006, whatever it was.
Yeah, I think he's better now.
Agreed. I think this is the best he's ever been.
Yeah,
I
would
like the
agree with
beard
that.
too. It looks good on him, rather than the shitty blonde frosted tip shit that he had way back in the day.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Okay, so we'll do modern
Orton versus
Orton for that. What else
1989 NWA styling and profiling Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Sting, the Crow Sting versus
Nice.
The Undertaker.
Progenies of the Great Apocalypse, Dimmu Borgir.
Wow, that was fast.
I've thought about that match a lot. If that was ever going to happen.
The Rock versus Shawn Michaels for the WWE Championship.
Ooh. Oh, that got me. I'm stumped now.
Which one did you say for Motley Crue earlier?
That was Eddie Guerrero, Santos
Kickstart
Escobar.
My Heart? Okay.
Yeah. Creeping Death, Metallica.
I've already used Pantera too. Okay, I'll come back and think about that one. You're doing them now. I'll do it.
I'm the first one that's coming to my head.
And finally, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Hulk Hogan for the World Heavyweight Championship and title of the biggest draw in wrestling history.
Ooh. Bad to the Bone.
I mean,
George Thornton.
I've seen the ratings. Austin's easily the biggest draw in wrestling history. But don't tell Hogan or Vince that.
Yeah. Well, it's a matter of you talking about in-house draw. I guess in-house draw too. Austin was pretty damn big.
There's a 10-year argument to be made there. Stone Cold was only around for a few years. Hogan's been here for 30 years.
And he came back and he was drawing big in his late 40s.
With The Rock, you know.
Drew big with Shawn Michaels.
I'm countering myself here now. Jesus. That's a big one. That has to have
Oh, you're right. Chris Costanza said, "For whom the bell tolls," for Rock and Shawn Michaels. That is a better Metallica song.
I'm gonna go. We Are the Champions by Queen, Stone Cold, and Hulk Hogan.
I'm gonna stick with Bad to the Bone.
All right. There you go, Sheppy. I think we kind of just did it.
No, we got to talk about the matches with the highlights. Yeah.
All right. We'll get back to you on that one, Sheppy. Thank you. Next up, Andy Jessup says, helloings to you both. Vince has finally realized that half his roster he is paying is just getting fat in catering and has decided he needs a credible fourth promotion on national TV to give them something to do. Pick a roster from the current roster to go on it. Make a brand champion, a mid-card champion, a tag champion, and women's champ. Also, commentators. Only current roster as of time you read this aloud. Also, if they are doing something on Raw, SmackDown, or NXT, they are off the table.
Wait, what?
If they are doing something.
So if they're being used now, we can't steal them. So this has to be unused people.
Okay.
That makes it
Sure.
a lot easier. I'm just gonna take all of main event. I'm gonna take Murphy. I'm gonna take Ricochet. I'm gonna take Humberto Carrillo. I'm gonna take Aleister Black.
I'm going to take all of them.
All those
I'm going
guys
to put them
over.
on 205 Live, and I'm going to make it a legit high-flying cruiserweight show to rival Cirque du Soleil. I'm going to tell them to go nuts.
I'm actually gonna go even edgier than NXT. All those guys get like just, as you say, like cruiserweight, but then with a little more edge to it. A little darker, a little more hardcore.
They're sitting around the ring drinking coffee
Mature.
and smoking cigarettes before they get in the match. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Listening to Bauhaus in the back. Exactly. Everyone.
They don't wear
everyone's
wrestling
dressed
boots.
in-
They just
dressed
wear
in
Doc
trench coats.
Martens. That is
Exactly.
their wrestling boot.
And
Yeah,
trench
exactly.
coats. Yeah. Yeah.
Or tuxedos,
ever-
depending on.
You ever wrestled in Doc Martens? You look like Frankenstein.
Randy Orton. I mean, he's got platforms,
He does. We're still wrestling
true.
boots.
That's true.
Last thing he needs is shoes making him taller.
That's pretty easy, Andy. There's so much unused talent outside of who's being used or doing something right now.
Yeah. Okay. So who's the brand champion? I'm gonna start with Aleister Black's the brand champion. Ricochet's the mid card champion. Humberto Carrillo and Grand Metalik are your tag champs. And Lindsay Dorado turns heel. And women's champ. Well, who's the woman who's not being used right now? Because they're actually finding a way to use a lot of women to their credit. We had Nikki Cross. There you go. Nikki Cross, your women's champ.
Nice. Okay.
That's it, right there. Edgy, fast-paced, fourth.
Yeah,
company.
Kyle said CZW cruiserweights. Yeah. There you go.
Bingo. Exactly.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Bingo.
Get all them high flyers
Yeah.
flying around, except with rider trucks and light tubes.
What's great is CZW could be like cruiser weight.
Ooh, nice. Nice.
Just, cruiserweight.
Yeah.
Like that.
Josh Logan threw in 500 bits. Thank you very much, sir.
Oh!
Says because
you,
it's my
Josh.
birthday tomorrow. Well, happy
birthday.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Bro.
That explains the 421 next to your name.
Oh, I still had your music turned
Now
off.
we
You didn't hear
understand.
it. I gave him a good bro. Yeah.
Of course you did.
Happy birthday, Josh.
It's your favorite.
Oh, I have the new hot button. I'm
Happy
only
birthday,
using it
brother.
today. It goes away after today because it's no longer 420. I got about
That's a good point.
an hour.
If that.
Thank you, Andy. Next up, Adon Ortega says, hello, gentlemen. Hope everything is going well for you guys. It is.
Yeah.
Q4 at work. It's busy. It's that time of year. I don't sleep much. The new puppy combined with all of that, 20 hours of wrestling to watch a week. Like, who needs sleep? Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah. You're
I'm
holding
all
in there
right.
pretty
I'm
good.
A little delirious.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what day it is. It's Tuesday because we're live.
Don't know where
I
you're
know
at.
that.
It's 420. You know that.
Bro.
See, it's 420.
I know. I got this. First, I just
Man,
wanted to
poking
Well,
at
go
that.
ahead.
You're poking at that button like a bear poking a
Every time you
sandwich.
trigger me with something, I'm just gonna hit the button. There we go.
I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
First, I just wanted to mention something you guys talked about last week when responding to my question relating to WWE video games. 2K20 was one of the absolute worst games in that series for character creation, so I can completely understand why Nick stopped creating the BWO universe. But 2K19 is worlds better as a video game and doesn't have nearly as many issues as 2K20. If Nick is interested in creating a BWO universe of sorts, I would highly recommend 2K19 to do that instead.
Yeah.
Heard? I think I've actually got a copy.
If 2K...
That's the one. AJ was on 2K20, but no, it was Becky and Roman on 2K20.
Oh, so it was AJ was on.
AJ was
19,
2K19. I've actually got that, but I've got
and
it for
Seth
Xbox.
was 18. So I mean, if 2K22 is a bust as well, maybe that's a good idea.
Not a bad idea. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah,
I'll give it a shot.
We'll see if 22 is any good, then we'll stick with that.
Anyways, my question is, if Eddie hadn't passed when he did, how would you have booked an Eddie HBK feud for WrestleMania that year?
Oof. What time of year did Eddie die? It was 2005. He died after WrestleMania that year, didn't he? He died mid 2005,
I want to say it was
right?
July.
That's what that's what I
we're
think
both
too.
wrong. November 2005.
Oh, late 2005. Okay, so at that point, 2005, Shawn Michaels.
I don't remember
summer
what feuds he was
heel.
having at the time. I'd have to go look that up.
Summer 2005, he was feuding with Hogan. It's when we had the SummerSlam match where he oversold everything. Fall, I think he was actually, I brought him up earlier. I think he was actually feuding with the Spirit Squad in the fall.
Oh, God.
And then the spring is when he started reforming DX as Triple H. That year at Mania is when he faced Vince McMahon at WrestleMania. Right. So that's a good one to erase from history and replace it with Eddie Guerrero. I wouldn't mind that. You could keep him heel from the summer, and have him. I mean, if we're fantasy booking here, Don, Eddie HBK in a ladder match at WrestleMania would kind of be my jam. I don't know if you're getting that title off of John Cena at the time. Well, I guess you could go for SmackDown. I'm trying to remember who had the other title at that time. It was Cena had one. Was JBL? Did he have the other one?
No, Cena took it off of JBL.
Oh, shoot. Who had...
That was the 2006... No,
yeah,
he hadn't
I'm trying to
taken
think
it.
who else had the title.
Oh, no, it was 2006 when Cena took it off JBL, wasn't it?
I'm trying to think who had the other title at the time.
Cena, let's ask the Google machine. Cena versus JBL. Was it WrestleMania 21, which was 2015? No, that's not right.
20
No,
what?
Why is it coming up with that?
2015. At any rate, but bottom line is, you can find a title
2005.
feud over. I definitely like them to feud over a title. Those two guys. I mean, Shawn wasn't going for a title that year because he was having a big match with McMahon right after the whole God thing. But having him and Eddie fight for a title would have been cool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's really all I can remember from that year off the top of my head. I'd have to go back and look and see.
We had Taker and Orton at that Mania too.
Okay.
Oh, what else was there?
Yeah, because you got a lot of big guys kind of higher.
That was
on
the year
card,
we
as
had the
Jeez.
first ever Money in the Bank ladder match, as well at 21.
Mm-hmm.
Was when Austin came back for one of his first appearances.
So wait, WrestleMania 21 was
2005.
Yeah, you're right.
So that was the year he passed. So he passed 6 months later.
So WrestleMania 22 was when we're looking.
So
at
we're
here.
booking if he had not passed. Let's build the next 6 months to an HBK Eddie Guerrero feud coming off of Survivor Series. Or I guess technically going.
Right, exactly.
It would depend on how Survivor. I'd have to go look up Survivor Series and see how that went down, and then who won the Rumble. Then does Eddie win the Royal Rumble, and he gets to pick it, and HBK is champion at the time? Like
I don't know. I mean, So it was Cena and Triple H. Triple H was going for John Cena. That's what it was. That's why Shawn
Batista
wasn't involved with Triple H. Although they were both doing cross chops, the same time. So
Batista was champion at the time. Thank you, Kyle, and Chris.
Yeah. Wasn't that around the time that Shawn Michaels broke the Master, or like he beat Chris Masters too? I think. Okay, so SmackDown. I was right. I couldn't remember what it was because it was Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio, and Randy Orton having a feud over it. And then it was Randy Orton beats Mysterio at No Way Out. Triple threat, Mysterio, Orton, and Angle for the World Heavyweight Championship. Let's see. Who was Intercontinental?
Fun fact: 21 was Hollywood too.
Casket match was Undertaker and Mark Henry. That was interesting. Oh, that was that's right. That was the WrestleMania with Mickie James and Trish Stratus for the women's championship.
It was the final. When Batista They were going to kick Batista out of Evolution, and he gave him the thumbs down. That whole story.
Right.
At 21.
Right. Let's see. Yeah, it's fun. I don't see the Intercontinental Championship on here. So you could have done it for that.
Yeah, Kyle said it was Shelton versus Carlito for the Intercontinental.
Huh. I don't even remember that match. That's how memorable that was. Oh God, that's right. That's also the WrestleMania with Boogeyman and Booker T and Sharmell.
Oh, that's right.
That's that one. Oh man.
No, 21 was in Hollywood.
And I don't know. Here's the thing: is I don't know. That Rey Mysterio win in that triple threat was really nice. Imagine having Eddie and Rey both win. So yeah, it's okay. Carlito and Shelton Benjamin, like I love me some Shelton, but you could easily have it be Eddie and Shawn for the Intercontinental. And at the end of the night, Eddie and Rey both have titles. So there you go. That's
and then
where I'm
they
going
feud
with.
over the custody of
In
Dominic.
a ladder match, damn it. Oh, shut up. Let it go, man. Let it go.
20 was Madison Square Garden. 22 was Chicago. 21 was Hollywood. 23 was Detroit. Yes, Kyle. There we go. Thank you very much, Adon. Did we say who he was? So did we decide what title they were going to feud for? The Intercontinental. Okay. Nice. Yeah. Oh, God, that would have been good.
Intercontinental ladder match between Eddie Guerrero and Shawn Michaels. End of the night, Triple H beats John Cena, and Eddie Guerrero beats Shawn Michaels. I mean, it's big, that sounds like a good time to me.
Next up, Brian Average says, greetings and salutations, gentlemen, as well as thoughts and prayers for having to watch Monday Night Raw every week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thoughts and prayers.
Moments like these where we can think of Triple H Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio both raising the championships at WrestleMania 22. That's what keeps us going.
Yes. I'm really finding it impossible to watch Raw every week with how much of a steaming pile of poop it has been. At this point, I've made the decision to just stop watching it and just use BWO to get the gist of what occurred and only go back to watch if it sounds worthwhile based on your reviews.
That's what we're here for.
Yes. Unfortunately. Anyway, after watching some classic 80s cult classic horror films this weekend in Basket Case and Chud. Oh,
nice. Oh, yes. Basket Case. Frank Henenlotter.
Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers. Love it. It got me thinking, with the Final Fantasy VII remake, is there another Final Fantasy game you would like to see remade, and why is it Final Fantasy VI?
Final Fantasy 2.
6? 6 was
2.
crap. I mean, it wasn't crap. It was
fine.
It
was fine. It was fine. 2. If I have to go Final Fantasy, I really want to say Chrono Trigger, which is basically Final Fantasy anyway.
I really like Final Fantasy X. I'm a huge fan of that one as well. So if I had to pick one after 7, I'd say 10. Yeah, there you go.
8's all right. But no, 2, American 2, not international 2. The one we got, which I think was 3, and then 3 was, Jesus Christ, I'm spacing it. It's, in America, we got...
It's a mess.
Japanese Final Fantasy 3 was our 2.
Right.
And then our 3 was their 4, I think. I know we got all screwed up. It got all screwy here in the U.S. But our 2 here was awesome. The one where they go to the moon and everything at the end. It's fantastic. That'd be mine. But Chrono Trigger. But also, if you watched Basket Case and you liked it, Brian, I know you got to check out Brain Damage and Frankenhooker. Same director, and they're probably more batshit insane.
Calder in 100 bits said by the end of the year, JB is going to have to strap Ian and Nick. Whoa, hang on. Oh, okay. He meant something else. By the end of the year, JB is going to have to strap Ian and Nick down in a chair like a Clockwork Orange, doing eye drops with their eyes kept open to watch Raw.
What did you think he was
saying? I don't know. I just read the first half and kind of stopped just to make sure
Good Lord, man.
Listen, it's
been a long day for Nick. His mind is wandering.
Thank you very much, Kyle.
It's a good reference.
It's a very good reference. Yes, indeed. That movie still holds up too.
We're gonna like be going out afterwards, and people are gonna be like chop each other in the chest. We're gonna start getting like physically ill. Like, whoa, no, stop chopping! Oh God, don't chop each other! Oh God! Aversion therapy, gotta love it.
Thank you very much, Kyle. Next up, Patrick Kennedy says, "I hope it made it in time this week." You did.
You did.
Quick question: you guys were talking about how good that tag match was on AEW for it being on TV and not a pay-per-view. Is he referring to the Pinnacle Inner Circle match?
Phoenix Pac versus Young Bucks.
Oh, God. What are some other all-time classic TV matches that you can think of? The one that always comes back to me is Gargano versus Cassius Ohno in NXT. I believe this was before the North American title even existed. Stay phenomenal, oh glorious Podfathers.
Dude, that's a tough question. NXT had a ton. And you know who also had a bunch? WCW back in the day. They're like, they had a bunch, like Ray was coming out there and doing some great matches week in, week out. Let's see. And you know what? Honestly, AEW's had a bunch of regular TV matches that were fantastic. Let's see, other TV matches that were great.
I mean, speaking of the Phoenix and the Young Bucks, Phoenix and Nick Jackson had a badass match. I remember in the first couple of months. That one's coming to mind. Phoenix and Nick Jackson in a singles match was lights. That was fucking stupid. Yeah. Excuse me.
What was the match? The one where Triple H injured his quads. It was on a Monday Night Raw. It was Stone Cold and Triple H when I believe they were champs. So they were the two-man power trip at the time versus Jericho and Benoit. And it was the one where Triple H injured his quads. That match is absolutely freaking insane. Yeah. The crowd is molten. The finish is nuts.
Was that the Chris Jericho
Triple
match?
H. That's the one where Jericho puts Triple H in the walls of Jericho on the desk while Triple H has torn quads.
Yes. That was on a Raw. 2000.
Yeah.
Ish.
It's around then. It's
Triple
around.
H,
There's a
Chris
bunch
Jericho,
of good Raws
and it was
then.
for the WWF heavyweight title. I'm pretty sure that's the one. Yeah. They had several matches though, if I'm remembering. I'm not sure if that was the one. I'm pretty sure it was the Jericho match where he tore his quad.
Well, it was a tag team match. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so that was the one where he teamed. Costanza says it was him
Jericho
and Austin
and
versus Jericho.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Yeah. Benoit and Jericho versus Austin and Triple H when they were the two-man power trip.
Right.
That match is nuts. Like, definitely go back and look at that.
Cool.
Trying to think of other ones. I
can remember. Speaking of NXT, I can remember Undisputed Era and Tyler Bate and Trent Seven, Mustache Mountain.
Mountain. Yeah. Oh my God, that match was nuts.
They just so many false finishes. You're just 27 times before we even got near the finish. That one was insane.
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember. Was Razor Ramon 1-2-3 Kid on a pay-per-view? Was on that on Raw? The classic one where 1-2-3 Kid upsets him. I mean, Waltman also had a good match with Brett on a Raw.
I don't remember
that
one.
But that Razor Ramon one is really memorable.
I remember DDP. You mentioned WCW. I always think back to DDP and Sting. Had some pretty nuts matches. It was at the end too. It was right before they got bought.
Like when no one was watching
and nobody was watching Nitro. Because Stone Cold and The Rock had erupted at this point, and DX was over as hell, but I can remember watching Sting and DDP have some bonkers matches.
Yeah, well there you go. That's a few for you. Off the top of our heads. Because, man, there's so much TV. But those are the ones that stand out. But here's the thing is, like, the reason that match with Phoenix and Pac was so insane, or with Phoenix and Pac and the Young Bucks was so nuts is because it felt like a pay-per-view match. Like their moves were so insane. Like that's why the first thing I thought about was the cruiserweight division back in WCW, because you would see that kind of shit every week.
I remember this one because it was right before we went into the pandemic last year, the Kenny Omega and Pac match on Dynamite.
Oh yeah.
It was like 2 weeks before we went into the shutdown.
Yeah.
And we were we were like, oh my God, that should have been on a pay-per-view. That's a world title match on a pay-per-view.
Yes. It wasn't an Iron Man match, like a half an hour Iron Man match. Yeah. Oh, it was nuts.
God.
What was it? It was Kidman. Was it Kidman Mysterio? Or was it Kidman? I'm trying to remember which luchador it
Kyle
was.
said Booker and Cena in a best of 7. That's not bad.
I don't remember that one.
Remember the details of it.
Booker and Cena in a best of 7. Huh. I have to go back and look at that one. Thank you for that, Kyle. Yeah, no, Costanza says Keith and Dijak. Yeah, there was like I said, NXT had a ton of TV matches that I'm like, you're giving us away?
Is the one that you were referring? No, because you said 1, 2, 3 Kid.
Rude and Strong. Rude and Strong was on a NXT regular show, and it was fantastic.
There was one, I had to look this one up to try to find it. It was in 2000 as well. It was Triple H, X-Pac, and the Radicals versus Rock, Mankind, and Too Cool. And it was like peak.
Well, shit, if we're talking about great TV matches, what about the one where Mankind wins the belt from The Rock and Stone Cold comes out to help him January 4th? I think 98. Was that 99?
Yeah.
That's one of the all-time greatest pops of all time. Then they carry Mankind around the ring. That's one of the greatest ones. But the match itself was very straightforward. It's just everything around it was such a big deal.
Yeah. Good stuff. There you go, Patrick. There's a whole list for you. Enjoy going back through the library for that one.
But what we can think of, I'm sure there's so many more.
There are so many more. Love you guys in chat rattling them off too. Let's see what else. Okay, one more. Esme snuck hers in.
Alrighty. Hello,
Esme. Let me do a couple of call outs real quick. Killer B Rise blowing up the bits. Threw 100 bits in, said seen Frankenhooker and Brain Damage. Even saw Frankenhooker again at a drive-in last year for a triple feature.
Nice. Excellent.
Another 100 bits said Chrono Trigger is amazing, but Kefka for life.
Kefka for life. Yeah, you know what? Fair enough. I'm not gonna argue him on that. No.
Another 100 bits. He said Booker versus Benoit, best of 7. Have we done any best of 7s recently?
We just Sheamus and Cesaro
did one.
It's been a long time. I love those.
Thank you, Kyle, for mentioning the Cena versus Eddie parking lot brawl. I think most people laugh at that, but I think it's amazing.
That's a great one. It's funny. Well, if we said, was the question regular TV?
Yeah, TV matches, all-time classic TV matches.
Does the halftime heat count?
It was on TV.
It's on TV. Middle of the halftime of the Super Bowl. All those insanely talented NXT guys absolutely tearing the freaking house down. In a ladder match.
Batshit.
That's one of the
I don't even remember what the halftime show was that year, but it was halftime heat for me.
I don't give a crap.
Lady Gaga or Katy Perry singing some shit.
Could have been Lady Gaga. I remember Lady Gaga was probably pretty good too. But you know what? That was one of the best wrestling matches on TV.
Killer B Rye threw in another 100 bits. Said Jeff Hardy versus Taker in a ladder match. Was that on TV?
Oh yeah, that was on TV. Yeah, where Taker put Jeff over at the end. He raises his he kind of makes him. He raises his hand and points and goes, yeah. Remember that one? Really good match. Very cool. It's one where Jeff lost but like got over in losing. Right. Taker put him over. It was very cool. Very cool match. I watched that live. That was nice. Awesome.
All right, rounding things out here. Esme, former booby champ. You can take that out of your name, Esme. Martin's two-timer at this point. You did extremely well last couple weeks ago.
She's got to hang her hat on something. She's hanging her hat on
pot puppies. Seeing as I'm probably last, let's keep it short. What are your top 3 must-visit destinations in the U.S.? If you could be a place, it could be a place you want to go or a place you've been. Thanks, fellas. And as always, stay sexy. Thank you, Esme.
Thank you, Esme. Top 3 places to visit in the U.S.? Lord. I mean, what are the metrics? What are the rationale? Why would it? Jeez.
I have a buddy. Side story while we're thinking about this. I have a buddy last year in the summer, middle of the pandemic, could not sit in his house any longer, and he pulled a Forrest Gump, and he got in his car and he just started driving. He took nothing with him. He had no luggage. He just got in his car and he was just driving around Charlotte, North Carolina. And then he just kind of started going somewhere. And then he looked up and he was in Illinois. And
Happens.
he just said, you know what? I haven't been to some of these places before. So he drove his ass to Mount Rushmore. And then he said, well, I've already gone this far. I might as well keep going. And he drove to Yellowstone and camped out in Yellowstone.
Imitation of him.
And then he said, well, I got this far. I might as well just keep going. And he turned left and drove all the way down to the Grand Canyon. And he said, well, I got this far. I might as well keep going. And he went to, I think he said he went to New Orleans on the way back and circled back through to Charlotte. And he was gone for like 2 weeks. And he says, I did all my work calls in the car. It's just like, what's the difference? So I think it's a fun side story. He went and saw all the sites.
Damn,
right?
I need to get a job like that where I can do my work calls in my car. I love driving. I love doing cross country trips. So that's part of the fun for me is getting there. And I just went to the Grand Canyon last year, and it is everything it is cracked up to be. I poo-pooed it for most of my life. I was like, it's a canyon. You've seen a canyon. You've seen a canyon. Not like
you
this.
You can see it from space.
It's not even that. It's you just do not like. And the way that they lead you up to it, there's all these trees along the edge. So you're walking up to the edge of the Grand Canyon, and like the last maybe I wanted to be kind of surprised by it. So like the last 50 feet, I've kind of put my head down, so I didn't look, and I didn't look up till I got to the edge. I get to the edge, you can tell where you're at the edge. And I don't know how they don't put some sort of railing along that, man. It's just open, and it's straight the hell down.
It's not like it's anybody's responsibility if you decide to fall.
Yeah, well, and they're not going to find your body. It's big. And you look up, and it is just everything. It's everything in your view. That's it. It's your entire world, and you almost feel like falling into it because it's so vast. It's feeling like it's sucking you in. It is mind-blowing. And I've seen a lot of incredible parks and everything. And like I've been to Yosemite a ton of times. I've been to Zion. I've been to a lot of these places in America with these huge grand vistas and amazing rock formations. I've been all over the world kind of thing. That is still one of the most like when I say breathtaking, I mean that literally like takes the breath right out of your chest. Like just stunning. Cannot believe it. So I'll make Grand Canyon one of mine. So give us one of yours.
As much as I've traveled, it's almost funny how little I've traveled in the United States. I've driven across the country from North Carolina to California 4 times. And I have my stops, but most of it is built around food.
Right. So where's some of your good favorite places to go eat?
When I was driving back to LA from North Carolina in 2013 to move back, we watched Man vs. Food episodes to decide where along the 40 we were going to stop. And we chose Gus's Fried Chicken in Memphis, Big Steaks in Amarillo, Green Chilies and Southwest Mexican food in Albuquerque. And then we were going to stop in Flagstaff, and I was like, nah, push through. 8 more hours, let's go. So I did it in 2.5 days.
Yeesh.
Only 2 stops.
That's not.
I drove
not
Amarillo to LA
either.
in a day.
Oh.
But I was just like, I want this to be over with.
Did I just say I like to drive? That's a lot of driving right there.
That's 16 hours in one day.
That's no joke.
But I'm a big comfy SUV. I had to stop for gas more than I had to stop for pee. But
Thank you for defining that for us.
If I had to, I'm a history nerd. I love historical sites. One of the things about the South is that there's a lot of history of this country here. A lot of not so favorable history, I'll admit, but there's a lot of history here, especially along the coast. I did a lot of scuba diving about 20 years ago, and I got really into it, and I got into deep water stuff, and we did the Graveyard of the Atlantic. We dove a lot of shipwrecks and stuff like that. If you've never been to the Outer Banks of North Carolina, it is breathtaking. It's beautiful if you like oceans and stuff like that. Plus how thin it is. You can literally look side to side, and you can see water on both sides, and it's like that for 100 miles. It's insane how that is still above water at this point. They do dredge and they keep it, manicure it a little bit. I've never been to the Grand Canyon. I've never seen the Hoover Dam. I've never seen Mount Rushmore. I've never been to Yellowstone.
You decided to drive past it on a 16-mile drive. 16-hour drive. You're like, I'd just rather drive 16 hours and see this amazing wonder of the world.
In the San Fernando Valley than the Grand Canyon.
Right. Exactly.
There's so many places. Like most of my stuff revolves around going to big cities and eating a lot of the food, the local fare, right?
Sure. Okay, so give us 3 restaurant recommendations.
Memphis. And actually, for those of you in LA, you can go to Burbank and go to Gus's Fried Chicken. I'm a Southern man. That man knows how to make some chicken. Right?
All right.
And it's over in Burbank. There's no excuse. I promise you, go, make the effort, make the journey, make the pilgrimage. I know it sucks. You have to drive to the valley, LA people, West Side people. I know you have to go to the valley and smell the stench of the San Fernando Valley. I get it. Go to Burbank and go to Gus's. The original one's in Memphis, and then he franchised out and spread out. And it's all the same recipe, all the same formula. It's super secret recipe. I cannot remember the name of the place we went in Albuquerque, but it was reviewed. It was a little hole-in-the-wall place, and it was giant wet burritos with half of it was red sauce, half of it was green sauce.
Green chilies.
Green chilies. And red mole sauce over the top of the burrito. Oh, God.
I'm so hungry now.
Wet burritos in San Diego, place called La Puerta.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I mean, you want to eat good Mexican food? Go to like San Diego, like like down by the border.
Well, yeah.
Right?
You can throw a rock and hit Mexico from there, so of course it's going to be good.
I love Mexican food.
Well, you and me both. I had Tito's tacos during WrestleMania.
You'll never have a better piece of pizza than if you're in New York style properly in one of the Brooklyn places.
So we're gonna piss people off here. New York or Chicago? New York, right?
But I don't.
New York.
I'll go down on a deep dish. Don't. I'm.
Hello. Oh, this is a PG
Hang on,
show.
Let me get my foot and put it back in my mouth.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I'm down for some deep dish. Like I'll knife and fork it too, man. I'll eat a lasagna pizza.
But let's call
that's cool.
It's a casserole.
Right.
Let's call it what it is.
I'll eat a casserole.
It's not
but
a
there's
pizza.
nothing like walking down the street in Brooklyn and walking into a little kind of corner store and there's like 10 pies out and let me have a slice.
Yep.
Right. And it comes out in this giant wedge that's $1.50 and you just fold it up and you dab the grease and you fold it up and you're walking down the sidewalk just eating this giant folded up pieces of bread.
And they've done the crust right, so it sticks all the way straight out. It doesn't flop over. No flop, but it's still chewy when you bite it. It's got a little crunch at the bottom. Just a nice little bit of texture at the bottom. I'm starving now. Oh man.
What about you? So you said Grand Canyon took your breath away.
Well, I'm just thinking of like cities that I went on tour to.
I have one.
Really
I've never been to Hawaii. I want to go to Maui. I've never been to the Hawaiian coast.
I have been to Hawaii, but I've been to the airport.
If I had to name one other one, I'm a huge fan of Deadliest Catch. I'm obsessed with. I follow those guys. I love the crab fishing and stuff like that. I've told Esther I would love to go to Alaska and go to Dutch Harbor and like walk around, see the boats parked in, just as a sight to see.
Our JB is who is one of our lovely correspondents on this show, was in Alaska for a while too. She can tell you about places to go. I think she was up there.
I'm fascinated with how people live in Alaska.
Eating salmon, I think. I don't know what she was doing. Eating salmon. So 3 cities that I love. Portland, Oregon, because it's like if you can go up there in like the late spring or late summer when it's not raining, it's one of the most beautiful cities you'll ever go to. People are cool. Food is great. Beer is really great. and a short hop, skip, and a jump to just some of the most beautiful natural sights you'll ever see up in the gorge, Multnomah Falls, that kind of thing, the coastline. Austin, Texas, just one of the coolest cities. Again, great food, fantastic food.
You'll gain 20 pounds eating barbecue in Austin.
The nightlife is a blast.
6th Street rocks.
Absolute blast. Holy crap.
It's only about like 4 blocks, but it's a good time.
I don't think I was sober for the entire time I was there. And yeah, it was amazing. Had a blast. And then Atlanta, Georgia.
Hot Atlanta.
It was hot.
If you're willing to brave the traffic. Well, I mean, compared to LA, I didn't have to worry about traffic. We were shuttled around everywhere. So it was just hop in, make sure I got my gear. That was it. It was no problem. And then just the venues were cool. The people were cool. The beers were really cool. Very cold. This is a very friendly, very fun city. Yeah. So those are the three places I had a great time. I'll give a hat tip to Toronto too. I enjoyed going. I went to Toronto once I was there for a 3-day.
And also,
thing. That's not in the U.S.
I've never played.
Never mind.
I didn't play Toronto, but I will say, like for music venues, those 3 cities are for music venues. But I've been to Toronto a long time ago, but I don't remember it too well, unfortunately. And it's also not the United States.
Esme. Kyle threw in 100 bits, said that Amarillo to LA drive is not fun. I did that in an 18-wheeler with my dad helping my brother move to Edwards. We almost didn't make it over the Rockies because of how much gas it drains you on that climb.
Going over the Rockies, Amarillo to LA.
Do that on the 40 then.
No, it ain't the 40. You're going up there. You're going up there through Kansas into Denver. Up over.
Yeah,
that is
going.
That
I
is
mean,
no
the
joke.
drive. Listen, I imagine that Mars looks a lot like what the 40 does going through New Mexico and Arizona. It is flat, desolate, rocky topography.
And it's also it's out to kill you. I got out at the Texas New Mexico border and took Dog Ziggler out to a little they had a little dog patch right at the rest
real
stop
grass
right on the
in
border.
Mexico?
So it was kind of rocky and there was some like little sprouting, half dead things in there, but it was a dog run, right? It was a little chain linked in dog run. Take him in there, take him out the leash. He starts running around and then he just starts like coming up a little bit lame. And he comes over to me and I look at his paws and he has these burrs in his paws. And I call them burrs because they're, you've seen burrs, like the little fuzzy things that catch in your clothes. No. These were Satan's own burrs. They were about 1 inch wide and they had spikes in them that were like hypodermic needles. I would try to pick them out of his paws. He had like 20 in every, and I would try to pick them out of his paw and they would get stuck into all of my fingers. And then they would break off in my fingers. I had pieces of those things in my fingers for days afterwards. I'm like, this is your dog run. This is what you put in your dog run?
Well, they don't put it there. It grows wild as a weed. They're
seed
pods, basically.
That's my point, is the landscape is trying to kill you. If I fell down on the ground in there, it's not as scary as Joshua Tree where they actually have cacti that'll shoot needles at you.
That's true.
But
listen, that's only when you're on too much peyote, man.
It is not. I have been stone cold sober, and I've had a giant piece of cactus about this big sticking to my leg, and there's no way to get it out.
Owie!
Yeah, it just breaks off. So it's just this cactus stuck in your leg.
Oh,
good times.
Oh. Well, there you go, guys. There you go, Esme. Thank you very much for the question. Love sharing stuff like that. I would love to hear some of you guys make a post in the discussion group or in Discord or something.
Get
Share
some recommendations
where you've been.
for
Rep
food
your cities.
Too. Yeah.
Mine is around food. So if you guys live in a big city or anywhere, really, there's a good chance somebody might come through there. So let everybody know where the good spots are at.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. But there you go, guys. Another patron mailbag in the bag.
Hey,
we're good to go. But I do want to give a shout out to. There's a new show on A&E. I'm losing.
There's a new show on AOP.
See if I can hope to close the show tonight. Okay. They're driving to build a museum for WWE.
Yes.
So they have made a teaser show hosted by Triple H and they have an official archivist now.
Yes.
Named Brandon something or BJ. I can't remember if it's Brandon or BJ. that is organizing all of the relics from 50 years of WWE. And so they've made a fun TV show where they're bringing the superstars back in and having so the first one was Mick Foley.
Yes.
They had Mick Foley go out and find his original Cactus Jack vest.
Yep.
One of the original
mask.
Richie Poser Mr. Sockos, and the original Mankind brown shirt he had in the match with I think it was Undertaker, and it tore the shirt all to hell. But it was I enjoyed it a lot more. If you like Storage Wars or like Garage Find, those kind of reality shows, it's like that except with WWE memorabilia. And some of the places they're going into, these guys have their own literal museums. These collectors of stuff.
And it's also cool because you get some more stories from these art, like seeing how everyone interacts. It's a very cool show. I watched the Stone Cold documentary and then watched that, and it was very cool.
Yeah, nice. I haven't seen the Stone Cold thing yet. I'm hoping to watch that this week.
We'll talk. I know we got to get out of here now. We'll talk about it another time. But I'm on the fence about it.
Okay.
Some good some bad.
Good to know.
But we'll come back to that another time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you everyone for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you everyone for hanging out with us in Twitch, in the chats, and YouTube's in the chats. Over on Facebook, you guys are awesome. Thanks for being with us live. If you're not catching us live, of course, you can always catch us on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern, and the mailbag is right after that show. And then on Fridays, right after SmackDown, usually about 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. You can catch us then. If you want to see us live, which is the most fun way to do it because we can interact with you live here on the chats.
Yes. Linktree.com/BWO is the place to find all the things to like, share, subscribe to, all of that. Tell your family, tell your friends, share the BWO love. Thank you guys for all the support. Patrons, big shout out to you guys. If you'd like to get your questions in every single week, patreon.com/BWO. Sign up for one of the reward tiers over there, along with the bits and subs here on Twitch and soon on YouTube too. I promise it's coming. It is the best way to support the show. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the bits and subs tonight. Really appreciate it. But until Friday, my name is Nick Howell. You can find me on Twitter at Data Center Dude.
And I am Sir Ian Dangerous. You can find me on Twitter at Sir Ian Dangerous.
But by God!
Would somebody stop the damn match?
This show is part of the Orbital Jigsaw Network. For more episodes, subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher Radio. For details and show notes from each episode, check us out, orbitaljigsaw.com.